Hello everybody. Whoa, hello guys. How are we doing today? Hope we're doing well. Hi Skitty. Hi Arch. Ellipti. Cino. Duality. I think I'm getting a little sick, but that's okay. I'm good enough to stream tonight. How are we all doing? It's been a wild day, I will never recover. Are you talking about the Suffer doc? Me too, I have old man voice. Nice. Listen, that's the one thing I won't complain about when I get sick, is it makes my voice deeper, and that is a win for me. My status on Discord at the moment is I'm going to remove your lungs and play them like fucking bad pipes. And someone DM'd me. Now, me personally, I'm more of a contraband saxophone person. Pros, gender, voice, cons, disease, exactly. Yeah, Suffer doc, but also, man, I'm stressed. I get you, but holy shit, Suffer doc. Yeah. Suffer doc is, because I hadn't checked it I didn't check it yesterday, and I didn't check it, I don't think, the day before. And so I went to check it today, and I was like, oh my god, 12 new pages. And I was like all giddy. I was like, oh my god, I'm a little guy. I'm a little guy, and this is my early Christmas present. Oh my goodness. And then I read it, and then I realized it wasn't a Christmas present. It was, a personal form of torture. I woke up one morning and sounded like a whole ass dude. Yippee! I think when I was younger, I had that experience. Like at some point, like I really vividly remember when I was like maybe 13, having gotten really sick, waking up and my voice being really deep, and I was like delighted the entire time I was sick. My mom was like, "You're so weird," and I was like, "I don't know. It's cool. Maybe I just stay like this." She had no idea. I didn't either. It took me until I was fucking 18 to come out of my shell. 18, I think? Maybe 17? Something like that. I haven't been up to date on the Suffer doc, but I keep hearing people talking about it. I'm terrified. It's good. We'll definitely have to read it when we finish wrapping up these streams, but we'll definitely have to do it in chunks, because initially I was just going to do it, I was going to do all of the supplementary fix for Alternate Universe all in one stream, and then I realized now that Unda's writing more and more and more, I can't do that. Because it's like, what, like 60k words now or something absurd. Maybe not that long. How long is it now? It's a lot. So, but I went running today. I did a pace of 9 minute 12 second average mile time, and I did like 3 miles, so it was nice. I think it'd be a very good idea if you read it all in one stream. Nothing would go wrong. There's at least 64 pages reading. It'll be fine. Yeah. That sounds like a great idea. Just sit here and fucking go at it. I swear it's more than that, Skitty. Hold on. I could have sworn I checked it and it was like way more than that. Maybe not. Okay, we have to include the chapter 1 though, because chapter 1 got copied and pasted. Oh, I guess it is only about 300 or 35,000, 35k. I thought it was so much more. Wow. Maybe I'm thinking of the side fic or something. Side fic as in the side fic from MCE. Yeah, that'd be a 6-hour stream. A 6-hour stream of just me reading, which I absolutely would be unable to do. That would not go well for me. Be funny for me to try though. When I was reading Homestuck out loud with my friend in call, we would go for like 4 hours, 5 hours straight, and it would kill me. Because my friend wouldn't read it, because they would draw and stuff like that, and then I would just be reading it because they've already read it before, but I would be the one reading it out loud. And I'd try to do like character voices too. Like I would try, like I wouldn't make a huge attempt, but I would try to do character voices. And so, we get to like fucking like Terezi and people like that. And like even Carcat, I used to try to do like kind of his like, if you think about how people tend to voice Carcat, of him being kind of like yelly and kind of scratchy, like, yeah, the raspy. I would try to do that, and then I realized he has the second most, his word count in all of Homestuck is the second highest. He has the second highest word count total out of all the characters in Homestuck. So can't do that. Is he the highest? Oh wait, maybe he is the highest. Is it Dave that's this? I know it's between Dave and Carcat. I think actually, yeah, you're right. I think Carcat's the highest, Dave is second. Yeah, hold on. Homestuck by word count. You are right, though it's very close. Here it is. Here's the word count. Yeah, it's very close. It's very, very close. It drops off hard after Vriska. I can't believe that. I fucking hate Vriska. You know what this is? Half of this is the fucking lily pad. Half of this is the goddamn lily pad, and it makes me want to kill. No, I'm not gonna make that joke. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make that joke. Oh my god, I fucking hate the lily pad. Oh my god. Wow. Yeah. Hussey's also pretty high up here, but I think that's because the recaps that he wrote were just so long. Is the lily pad gonna make you want to strangle Vriska and Berserker? It's gonna make you want to strangle Hussey in a blender and also Vriska by association. I'm like 99% sure lily pad is where I stopped reading for the first time in 2015. Yeah, that's where my friend stopped reading too. When it was coming out. After the lily pad, it was just downhill. I sincerely think that S Game Over was the worst narrative decision that Homestuck did. I'm gonna sit by that. The only Vriska that I like is DVDC Vriska. It's the only Vriska I can handle. Oh, but DVDC Vriska is the best fucking character. I love her so much. Not the best character, but like she's the best. I love her in DVDC so much. That line where she's telling Solux that his character isn't a wizard. His character sounds less like a wizard and like a warlock. Oh, that whole scene. Oh, and it's like a reflection of itself. Oh my god, it's so fucking good. Holy shit. I literally love that scene so much. And I'm like a huge Dungeons & Dragons nerd. So when they were talking about it and they were making the comparisons, and like even like the whole like them like using, spells and stuff like that as like hidden code word conversation, I was so into it. Because it's pretty accurate. And then they brought up the thing about the warlock, and I was like, holy fuck, this is amazing. This goes so hard. And I was like, yes, and to be fair, warlocks are by far my favorite D&D class. Anytime I get to play a character, I try to play a warlock. I love warlocks so much. My favorite critical role character is Ford. Just because I love Mask of Many Faces. I love a charisma caster. Mask of Many Faces, I think, is one of my favorite spell or class features. I guess it's technically a class feature. You just go through some hoops to get it, but it's like my favorite class feature because it gives you so much opportunity to do fun stuff. And I'm a big fan, and I'm also a forever DM, so it's a way of me transferring forever DMness into a character, of me just being able to make up NPCs on the spot whenever I need them for a disguise as a character. I've always wanted to get into D&D, but shrug. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get into D&D. Like, I got into it when I was in high school, so I was surrounded by friends and stuff like that, and we had clubs after school and stuff, but if you're not in that kind of environment, it's kind of hard to pull people together to, like, do it, you know? Because I haven't played D&D in years, sadly. Or at least not consistently in years. I've played a couple here and there, like little one-shot sessions, but I haven't run a campaign in years. And that's more so because I just... Wow, don't have friends. No, that's not true, but it's hard to find people IRL who wanna do it. So, and I honestly would love to play a campaign because running a campaign is really, really tough, and really time consuming. But everybody wants to play. Nobody wants to DM, and I'm the only person, or at least in the circles that I'm in, I'm usually the only person that has DMing experience. Nobody else wants to try DMing, so I end up being the DM, which kind of sucks. Not that I enjoy DMing a lot, but it's a shame when you don't have like the flexibility. I still don't understand warlocks. Warlocks are just the best spellcaster class, in my opinion. I also love like an interaction between a warlock and their patron. It's so good to me. Like literally Ford is an example of probably my favorite warlock character in any D&D game, any D&D thing ever. I just love Ford's arc. Now, to be fair, what they did with Ford, what Matt was able to do with Ford, only really worked because Travis was, like the player was accommodating and trusted Matt to do stuff, because you can't technically, the whole arc that he had with Ukatoa, and him getting his powers taken away, technically that's not how warlocks work. And in a home game situation where you're not, you know, if your DM isn't Matt Mercer, like I wouldn't trust my DM to do that kind of thing. So I want to get into Critical Role, but the episodes are so long, I just don't have the time. I have listened to an embarrassing amount of Critical Role. Now, to be fair, I haven't listened to Campaign 3 yet, mostly because it kind of hasn't grappled me yet. But I have listened to Campaign 2 of Critical Role at least 3 times fully through, and then it may be another once or twice I've re-listened to some of the longer arcs. I've listened to Campaign 1 once fully through, and then I got like halfway through or so another time. So yeah, and just for context, for people who don't know, Critical Role Campaign 2 runtime total. So Campaign 2 consisted of 141 episodes with a total runtime of over 550 hours. So that was Campaign 2. Campaign 1 I think was shorter. Campaign 1, no, we haven't started yet. Campaign 1 was 447 hours total. Wow. But yeah, and most of that was actually watching it with the video. I very rarely listen to it in podcast form. I mean, I would have it on a monitor and then I'd be like drawing or whatever, but I would also watch it like, for at least for Campaign 2, I'd watch it as it came out. And it would start at like 10 p.m. EST, and it goes for about 4 to 5 hours, so I would stay up until 2 a.m. every Thursday night, like into Friday, and binge watch it. Usually, like, they have a break about halfway, and usually by about halfway I pass out because I was like so tired. It's hard to stay up that late. But yeah, but I love Critical Role. I really want to get back into Campaign 3. I just have to like sit down and start it, and I just know when I start, I'll start a binge of it, and that'll be it. Like I'll be hooked. But I just need to like do that, and I have other things that I want to listen to and I'm working through or whatever, before I dive into, because I think they're like maybe 50 episodes into Campaign 3, maybe less, but something like that. Anyways, Critical Role is good, and I highly recommend it. But I listened to Taz Balance way back when it was coming out. Now I'm a JRWI fan. The episodes usually come out every week, but they're only 1.5 to 2 hours. Yeah, I loved Taz Balance. I watched it as it was coming out, but I hadn't caught up until I think about Suffering Game. Suffering Game was when I was listening to it, and it was coming out as I was listening to it. And then I listened to it like through its final arc and through the ending. I cried at the ending. I remember being in high school, like on the bus. In high school, probably like my junior or senior year, on the bus. But I was on a public bus because I didn't take the school bus. I took a public bus home. And I remember listening to the final episode and like crying on the bus, and somebody asking me if I was okay. I wasn't okay. But Taz is really good. I tried getting into JRWI, and I couldn't really latch onto it, but that's mostly just because, to be fair, I only listened to the episode with Wilbur when he like was a guest star for an episode or two, and I kind of was like I really enjoyed Wilbur's presence there, but I was like, I also wasn't looking for another Dungeons and Dragons podcast because I was knee deep into Critical Role at the time. I've only watched that one and the ones from Rambo. Oh, I didn't know Rambo did some guest episodes. Off topic on D&D and on topic of podcasts, I've slowly been making my way through TMA. TMA is great. TMA is so great. TMA is lovely. I've listened to TMA 2 times through fully, and then I've like re-listened to season 1 like 7 times. Season 1's my favorite season. Anyone here excited about MCC teams? I am. I don't know if I'm gonna tune in live because it's been a very long time, obviously, since MCC, and a very long time since I've really cared about Minecraft YouTube to a crazy extent. But some of the MCC teams look cool. The Scar and Tubbo team look fun. I tried listening to TMA, but I'm a scaredy cat. I get that. I think I'm not a huge horror person either. I hate horror. But TMA I was able to listen to because audio horror is less scary to me. Visual stuff is the things that throw me off. I'm on episode 74/75, soon to be done with season 2. Ooh. You're getting knee deep in there. Once you get to season 3, that's when, I mean, season 2 things kick off as well, but season 3, like, shit hits the fucking fan. Goddamn. I really want to listen to TMA, but I don't have the time. That's fair. That's very fair. There are transcripts for TMA episodes, but like, if anybody tells me that they just read the transcripts and they don't listen to it, I'm like, bro, you're missing out. You're missing out so much. You can't just listen. You can't just read the transcripts. You have to listen to it. TMA is just the right length for me to listen on the way home from school. 7 sliding episodes there. Yeah. That was the best thing for me. I did that, and then I would just listen to it while I was like doing chores around the house. And it was funny when the first time I binged TMA, I like deep cleaned my entire apartment. Like everything. I deep cleaned my whole room. My house was the most clean when I was binging TMA because it was like the easiest thing for me to do while I was listening. Like, because I had to do something. I had to do something around my house. I couldn't just like sit there and just listen. And I didn't want to draw because I would get distracted while I was drawing. So I would put it on and I would clean. And my house was fucking spotless. Absolutely spotless. I want to listen to TMA since June. I have so much content I want to consume. Yeah, I get that. For sure. I'm listening to Penumbra podcast right now. And I've been making my way through it pretty slowly, but I've just been busy, and it's just like I have fics I want to read. I have other stuff I need to listen to. There's just so much stuff to go through. Giggles Penumbra podcast. I know. And I'm also like, I'm playing Outer Wilds, or I'm trying to get through Outer Wilds, which is a game, and I haven't had the time to really do that as much. I'm about 3 hours into it, but I'm waiting for it to kind of kick up because it's interesting so far. But I'm waiting for like the wow moment, because everybody says that Outer Wilds is like the greatest game of all time, and I'm sure it seems like it's building up to something really good. But I'm waiting for that to hit. Well, I liked Penumbra, but I forgot what episode I was on, and I never picked it up again. Whoops. Yeah. Sometimes it just happens with podcasts. Okay, we've been chatting for like 20 minutes. We have a victory, don't we? It's nice just being able to sit and chat. But let's do the summary really quick, and then we'll hop in. So Ark, I assume that will be your dip out. Because I'm assuming you're not caught up on Alternate Universe yet, which is completely fair of you. But we're gonna hop into the chapter 20 summary. See you later, Archa. Have a nice night. Alright, so quick chapter 20 summary. We won't summarize the whole thing, but essentially, if we're gonna wrap up it all in a sentence or two, it was a lot of Soul Cat, and it was a lot of little flirting. They were being very cute last episode. Last chapter. They were being very lovely, and I love them. Solux essentially helps Karkat do magical tech support at Jude and Joey's house. After needing Karkat to like do all this stuff, he needs to be able to speak and write in demonic, or not speak demonic, but write and read demonic. Solux switches his proficiency in the language that he speaks from English to demonic, and shenanigans kind of ensue a little bit. And also Karkat secretly records himself saying some very flirtatious and important phrases in demonic so that he can study it later to surprise Solux with. And then they go to sleep together. Not like that, but they cuddle in a little sofa and they sleep next to each other, all snuggled up together. And that's pretty much the end. They're in Jude and Joey's house, hanging out. Yeah. Okay. Let's hop into the chapter. Chapter 21. The devil went down to Georgia. Take a little sip of my water. They cuddle. It's so cute. It is so cute. All right. How's my music? Let's turn that down just a tad. Okay. Here we go. When you wake up in the morning, you are sleepy and comfortable, perfectly content to lay there for a while. Solux is still asleep, and you don't really want to wake him. You have one leg thrown over his, and his tails are wrapped around your ankle on that leg like he's your personal anchor. In half-awake daze, you watch him. He's definitely dreaming. There's little telltale movements behind his eyelids, and every so often his tails will tighten on your leg, or his mouth moves slightly, as if he was saying something in his dream. You're a little worried about waking him, but you shifting a little to make sure your arm doesn't go dead or moving your head a touch so you can get comfortable doesn't disturb him one bit. But something does. Solux goes from dead to the world to wide-eyed, buzzing with psionic energy, and clutching you tight to him as he scrambles up in the air off of the sofa. You watch in shock as the expression on his face shifts, the alarm falling away. "Sorry, I was trying to be quiet," Jade squeaks, frozen on the stairs. It's okay. It's nothing," Solux says, blatantly a lie. He looks at you and lets you go, dropping you the foot down to the sofa. "You ass. Hey, I can understand Jade again," you exclaim, pointing at her. "You're speaking English again," Jade says cheerily, and hops down the last few steps of the chair. Solux drifts down to sit on the arm of the sofa, his tail twitching like an irritated cat. Sorry about waking you up, Solux. I was trying to be quiet and sneak by. Are you having a bad dream or something? Because I can't imagine me creeping by would wake you up when Karkat's snoring wouldn't," Jade asks and shoots you a teasing little look. "I don't snore," you protest. Solux says. "You do," Jade assures you. "You both suck," you grumble. You want to insist that they're making it up, but they both have slept next to you, so maybe they're right. "Sure, whatever. I'm gonna go. Hit me up when you need a lift back," Solux says, and then without another word, he just vanishes. "Is he alright?" Jade asks you. "Not a morning person, maybe?" you say with a shrug. "I didn't mean to startle him," she says with obvious regret in her tone. "He said it was nothing. There's probably no reason to worry about it," you tell her. You don't think for 1 second that it's not really nothing, though. Solux mentioned very vaguely about his past in hell having not been great. If he happened to spend a lot of time hanging out with a fallen angel on the outskirts of hell, he was probably trying to lay low. You snuggled up to him, and moving a little didn't disturb him. He trusted you enough to sleep, but Jade was someone further off, someone sneaking. The way he jolted awake trying to protect you makes your heart wrench. What happened to make such an instinct? No wonder he usually likes to sleep with his Moirail awake. He can feel better that someone is keeping an eye out for him. A lot of this is guesswork, of course, but it's definitely an educated guess on your part. As much as you hate it, you can feel a part of yourself bubble with anger at whoever instilled that kind of reaction in him. You're too late to protect him, and vengeance isn't something you should really take up, but damn if it isn't tempting. You want coffee or something? Jade offers after a long moment of silence. You know I do. You laugh. Jade shakes her head with a little chuckle and walks off towards the kitchen. You pull the blankets back off yourself and pull your phone up from its charm. Taking a quick minute, you rewatch the video you made last night of yourself and write your English translations down for what you said. You're going to learn those phrases in demonic. Maybe one day you can learn the whole language, but for now this will do. You look at your phone screen for a moment or two after you're done, and on impulse, open Trollian to send Dave a message. Morning. Fuck, it sure is, dude. So, yesterday I was speaking demonic. Yeah, I heard about that from Jade, and Solix told me about it just now. Oh, so he went back to you. That makes sense. Yeah, man, he's currently sat on my windowsill staring out. I think maybe Mom is twitchy about the wards, and he's eyeing them up for her or something. Maybe he talked to her on the way here. I don't know. Makes sense. Oh no, says he hasn't talked to her yet. Hey, so you said you talked to Jade. How did that go? I didn't get to speak to her yesterday night because of a sudden and frustrating language barrier. Yeah, we chatted a bit, but I think she talked to Rose a little more. Apparently neither her grandpa's two kids there are her parents, which is a big question mark, and she said she wants to check out all of her grandpa's diaries or journals or whatever they are when you get back here. I entirely support Jade in this. Oh, same. This is going to end terribly, isn't it? So it's not just me with that sinking feeling like someone tied my insides to the Titanic and crashed into all the icebergs and the band are just playing as my stomach gets dragged into the depths. No, that's me too. We're both there on the Titanic in this metaphor, I guess. I promise not to leave you hanging on the edge of a door and freezing in the ocean in this scenario. What if there really wasn't room for both of us on the door? That's what people say. Then I would take turns with you, obviously. Nothing expresses the depth of someone's affection for you like offering to mitigate their risk of hypothermia with them. I try. Oh, shit. Jade is calling me for coffee. I should go. Cool. I should get up at some point. Probably, yeah. But my bed is warm, and I don't want to. You raise a good point, but I have coffee tempting me, so I'm gonna go. Zzz. You get up and head into breakfast to find Jade. As you thought, she's made coffee for both of you, and is curiously inspecting what's around that looks like it could be breakfast food. You don't know if they told you to help yourself or anything, but you can't imagine that either Joey or Jude would begrudge you a slice of toast. Thanks, you say, as you pick up the mug and blow on the steaming surface of the coffee. It's okay. I'm just glad you can speak the same language as me again. Solix told us that it'd only be temporary, but it's reassuring to see that he was right. I mean, school is always telling us how serious magical accidents can be, and one that messes with your mind enough to change your language could be really bad if it was done wrong, Jade says. I'm fine, really. Solix already knew the basis of the spell, and it was in his native language, so I'm sure he knew what he was doing. He wouldn't risk scrambling my brain for that otherwise, you assure her. It's funny how the two of you were like cats and dogs before, but now you're both like this, she says with a grin that's full of mischief. Oh, he still drives me crazy with how annoying and frustrating he is. It's just different now. Or maybe I should say that I can see it now for what it is. I don't know. You shake your head. How do you explain that kind of thing to someone else? Well, I'm glad the two of you worked it out. She nods. Jade picks up a bag of bread and holds up a few slices. You're too busy drinking coffee to answer her, but you give her a thumbs up with your other hand, so she throws it in the toaster for you. So what's the plan now then? Back to the island? You ask. I think so. I don't want to impose on Joey and Jude. They're together for Christmas time, and they don't know me well enough for me to just invite myself. They probably wouldn't say no, but... Jade trails off. She wouldn't feel right just inserting herself here at the first opportunity. You get that. Feeling like an outsider is never fun, but it's hard to get away from. Did you find out anything more about your grandpa when I can understand what you were talking about? You ask, shifting the topic a little. Jade nods and leans back against the kitchen island with her arms folded and her face set in a downcast expression. Yeah, I did. Obviously, he wasn't a great father to Joey and Jude. That's pretty obvious. He used to just ditch them all the time. I think Joey took it more personally than Jude did, but it's clear that even he doesn't like Grandpa that much. Neither of them were especially sad to hear that he was dead, but I guess when you're out of someone's life so much that you can die and they don't know about it, then you can't really complain about them not feeling too bad about it. She sighs. I can't imagine having kids and then just leaving them like that, you say. Jade nods and picks up a lock of her long hair and stares intently at the end of it like she's searching for split ends. I feel bad about it, really, she says softly and combs through that lock of hair with her finger and starts absently braiding it. It's clear that they didn't like him, and Grandpa was always very averse to conflict, you know? Whenever he had done something to make me mad at him, he'd just try to brush it off, distract me from it, or bury himself in work all of a sudden. He wasn't good at dealing with that sort of thing. It's not their fault, of course, but I wonder if he just saw how much of a mess he'd made here and just kind of ran away from it all, she says unhappily. That's really cowardly of a move if that's what it was. Not that cheating on his wife with that gentleman caller was any better, you say in disgust, and take another sip of coffee to get the taste of that idea out of your mouth. Yeah, they weren't happy when I told them about that. I did that when you were in the attic breaking things, Jade says and finishes the braid off. That's not what I was doing, you grumble. Sure, I guess I just want to go back and try to look through his diaries. I want to know if he has another kid somewhere and if I'm their child, or if he adopted me from somewhere as a second chance of being a parent with a kid that didn't really hate him. A good number of parents of changelings give them up for adoption, so it's possible, Jade says with a wince. It's true, but it still hurts to think about. You think he called himself your grandpa instead of your father because it afforded him more distance or something? As in, it's easier to be someone's wacky grandpa than an irresponsible as shit father, you guess? Maybe? Or maybe it's just to explain the age thing. I know male humans can have children really late into their lives with no problem, but it's not the normal age range, is it? Grandpa might have just been more believable. Or maybe he really is my grandpa and I have a parent out there that isn't Joey or Jude. I need to read his diaries to be sure, Jade says. The toaster pops and she snags the toast from it, hissing slightly at the heat as she tries to get the toast onto the plate before she burns her fingers. You hunt through the fridge and come up with some butter and go through a few drawers until you find a knife or two as well. We can work it out together, you tell her confidently. Jade beams at you, and the two of you eat your toast and drink your coffee in companionable silence. Just as you're finishing up washing the dishes, Joey and Jude come into the room. Although Jude looks like he's been kicked out of bed by his sister. He's still wearing a dressing gown and barefoot slippers with fur and claws. Morning, did you two sleep okay? Where's your other friend? Joey asks curiously. He went home real quick. He said he'll be back to give us a lift off when we want to go out. You tell her. Oh, so you're speaking English again then? Jude grins at you cheekily. Yeah, I'm back, you snort. Carcat and I were thinking of leaving. I've got a lot more questions about Grandpa now that I want to look into it. Plus, I don't want to intrude anymore, you know? Jade laughs awkwardly. Jade, you're not intruding. You can go back if you want, but please don't think that you're not welcome here. You've got our numbers. You can come by whenever you want or talk to us whenever. Right, Jude? Joey says and shoots a look at her brother. Of course. Salem's not far away either. If you ever want to stay out here for a project or anything, or just dinner, you can. Jude nods. I really appreciate that. Jade sniffs. I just remember I left my, you say awkwardly, and make yourself scarce, slipping back into the main room. As you leave, you can see Joey and Jude pulling Jade in for a hug. She's got a family. You don't want to get in the way of that. You feel a pang at what might be envy. You don't have a family. As far as you know, you only had your maker, no siblings or whatever the angelic equivalent is. Cancre's dead, and he also sucked. It's not that you wish he was here so you could give him a hug. Maybe you just wish that he was the sort of person who would have liked you enough to hug you and mean it. Wow, that's sad. You shoot a message to Solux and give him a heads up that Jade is probably going to want to leave soon, but that you'll tell him closer to when exactly she wants to leave. You just don't want him to start some hour-long campaign on some nerdy video game or something else equally sad and dorky. He tells you to get fucked. He also says to let him know when Jade wants to go and that it's no problem. The duality of Solux. You're left with not much to do, so you fold up the bedding that Joey and Jude were kind enough to lend you and straighten the place up a bit. Oh, you really don't have to do that, Joey says when she comes back in the room with the rest of her family and sees you tidying. No. You've been really gracious to just, with us just showing up here. It's the least I can do. You insist and stack the coasters up with one hand as you hold the drink cans for the recycling in the other. Here, I'll take those, Jude offers and takes the drink cans off of you. That at least saves you asking where the recycling is. Can we go back? Jade asks. Sure, you nod and shoot Solux a message. Solux shows up about 2 seconds later, eating an apple. Wanna go? He asks Jade through a mouthful of half-chewed apple. Jesus, who raised you? You hiss, and regret it when Solux winces a little. No one, he retorts. Well, same, but I have better manners, you splutter out indignantly. Solux seems to consider this for a moment, and then sticks his tongue out with a whole load of chewed-up apple on it. He's disgusting. Why do you kiss this guy? Jade snorts with laughter, so you've already lost the battle to try to force some manners into the shitlord. You may as well just accept it. He holds out a hand to her, and Jade hesitates. Hugs Joey and Jude one last time before taking Solux's hand. His tail snags around your wrist, and all at once, you're on Jade's island again. Thanks for the ride, Solux. It's really nice of you, Jade says gratefully. I know, I'm fantastic like that. Later, loser. That last part is directed at you as he flicks your forehead with his finger and then disappears again. I loathe him, you grumble. You and Jade return to her house and decide to get changed into clean clothes before you start on your research. When the two of you walk into her grandpa's office, you end up looking at a huge stack of his journals, and once more you feel overwhelmed. Through the glass, you can see the frog temple once more, and an idea occurs to you. Hey, maybe before we look into your grandpa's sketchy past about how many kids he may or may not have, can I look for something specific? You ask. Sure. I'm feeling a little nervous now that I'm here, to be honest, Jade admits. You wander over to a stack of books on the table and call out to Abraxas. It pokes its head out after a moment and blinks at you curiously. Hi, Abraxas. I wondered if you could help me with a specific kind of search, you ask. Specific is better than vague, so by all means, Abraxas nods. In that temple over there was a box and a record player. The record player had a specific record in it, which seemed really weird to have there. I just wondered if you could tell me if Jake Harley ever wrote anything about it that might tell us something. The record is called The Devil Went Down to Georgia. Can you find anything? You ask, trying to be as clear as you can. There are several diary references to that song, and one letter that came with the shipping of a package, Abraxas tells you. The kind of package you might get a record in? Jade wonders. You shrug and look at Abraxas. The package arrived before I was around, but I can find you the letter. Follow me, Abraxas says and squirms quickly up the stairs to the top of the dome. It wriggles to a filing cabinet and through the metal to the paper inside. A moment passes and a letter pokes out of the top. It's addressed to the Harley Manor. Dear Jake, thanks so much for not telling the press about what happened. We really did make a record out of it, and it's doing really well. Here's a signed copy. I'll never forget that night. Charlie. You frown and pull your phone out. A quick search of Google tells you that the band that recorded The Devil Went Down to Georgia is the Charlie Daniels Band. That's weird. Abraxas, are there any diary entries that have... Wait, let me look up the lyrics. Jade mutters and looks at her phone for a minute. Any mentions of a fiddle contest at a date before this letter? Oh, that's clever. You nod. Oh, yes. Abraxas nods. The little worm wriggles over to an older section of diaries and pops one out. The page flips to reveal another entry in Jake's now familiar handwriting. I really must tell you about this encounter I had tonight that I can scarcely explain. I've been traveling through Georgia for far too long, trying to track down people who claim to have seen Alti, a cryptid that I'm certain is nothing more than poppycock. I feared the whole trip would be a total bust, but it seems not. I went to a bar to try to drown my sorrows, despite how good swimmers tend to be. There was a band drinking there together too, but otherwise it was very quiet. I didn't even hear the young man come in or see him until he took a seat on a stool down from me at the bar. I would never admit in public that I have had a passing fancy for the occasional gent. People don't tend to look kindly on that sort of thing, even in academia. Not that it's a problem. I can just ignore it and pretend to be normal. Either way, this young man sat down, and he was just the type to get my heart racing. He was a pretty thing, but he looked strong, like maybe he had some kind of career as a rancher or something. He certainly looked the type. He had pale hair and slightly golden skin with freckles across his bare shoulders. I could scarcely see his face from the shade of his baseball cap, but I could see from his profile alone that he was attractive. We ended up talking, though I can't quite remember how. He was charming, but in a way that put me ill at ease, as if I had to fill these silences, and ended up saying all sorts of things that I wouldn't have meant to. He started asking me curiously how much I wanted to see this here cryptid of mine, and what I'd give to see it. At this point, there was another man in the bar, one I hadn't really paid much mind to before. He was sitting in the back and walked past the table that we'd moved to by that point, and his shirt just caught my drink and spilled it, which rather shattered the mood. He was very apologetic, of course, and offered to buy me a new one. When he bought me a new drink, the jukebox started playing that dueling banjos song, and the young man laughed and said it was a plumb shame that people didn't duel in this instrument of choice, because he was sure he'd win any contest. I asked him what he played, of course, and the young man said that he played the fiddle, and that he'd bet his very soul that he was the best fiddle player around. My companion was on his feet in an instant, an inch from the man's face, saying that he'd take that bet. All I can say is that he looked hungry. The new man was undisturbed and held out his hand, said that his name was Johnny and that he'd take the stranger's bet. What happened next I have trouble putting together. It wasn't music, not really, or not what I can describe as music to my ears. I hid behind the table of the band that had been drinking there as drinks burst aflame and mirrors shattered as the man who had been talking to me played and played. I still feel the beat of that music in my soul even now. When he was done, we all stared in terror, sure that this man was not of this plane at all. But the young man was just grinning from ear to ear, his blue eyes all shining like he was in on the biggest joke of all. He said that the man's attempt was good, but nothing compared to his music. He played. I had been staring at this page for several minutes, trying to describe the sound that the man's fiddle made as he played, but words simply can't put it to justice. It was music like I've never heard, and that night I found blood dripping down from my ears, and I don't know which of the two caused it. Either way, we could all tell that Johnny's music was the better, and my companion held out his fiddle with a hiss, turned it to solid gold, and dropped it to the floor at the man's feet, and walked out. The young man jeered after him and snatched up the fiddle, winked at all of us, and then walked out with a laugh. The bands say they might make that whole thing into a song. I would sooner forget it, and to that end I have a bottle of whiskey here that I'm going to start work on until this is all a hazy memory. You and Jade stare at each other for a moment. How is any of that possible? Surely that had to be a demon that Jake ran into, albeit one pretending to be a human very convincingly, or maybe he's something else. A few species big on deals, and that's what it sounded like he was trying to bait Jake into. The fact that the song is called The Devil Went Down to Georgia makes it pretty clear that the people there worked out that the man was some flavor of demonic. Holy shit, or rather, unholy shit. More importantly, is this the mysterious gentleman caller? Abraxas, what's the first entry after this for gentleman caller, you ask. Abraxas doesn't even have to fetch a new book. It just dips into the page and flips to another entry not that far ahead. You scan the page as fast as you can. I told him that if he's going to keep showing up, then I'm going to consider him my gentleman caller, and what with this being his third time seeking me out, that at the very least he ought to buy me dinner. It was a joke, of course, but in a snap we were somewhere else, atop some skyscraper in a fine dining establishment that I couldn't possibly ever see myself in. I was nowhere near presentable enough for the place, but then neither was he. He snapped a finger, and then out of nowhere, the most beautiful woman I've ever seen showed up with 2 covered dishes. She set them on the table, bowed to him, and vanished. He just sat there and watched me until I took the lid off, and I had to laugh because it was only McDonald's under there after all that. He seemed amused by how funny I found it, and now that I think on it, I wonder if he was being more sincere than I thought about trying to have some kind of contact with me. He didn't even try to talk me into selling anything away to him this time. A gentleman caller, indeed. The room is silent and still. Your arm is warm from where Jade is leant against your side reading as well. Grandpa was fantastically stupid, she says slowly. Oh, 100%, you agree in awe. Okay, yeah, you're dating a demon, but you were twitchy around him for a good while until he showed he could be trusted, and loads of people vouched for him. This dude showed up, tried to make a bargain for Jake's soul, then got distracted trying to melt a man's face off in a music contest, and then seemingly stalked Jake to keep bothering him. Apparently, that's swoon-worthy if you're Jake Harley. What the shit? So, now we need to... I need to see where I came from, Jade asks hesitantly. Well, what's your plan with that then? You ask and shift so you're sitting cross-legged on the floor and just watching her. You want to support her and let her do this at her own pace. My plan was to just look up at the date I was born and work from there, she says, and picks up a book you have and picks up the book you have and puts it back in its place. She slides her fingers along the volumes until she comes to one she decides is right. She plucks it from the shelf and sits back down at your side to read. This time, she reads aloud to you. December 1st, 2000, she begins. Wait, you interrupt. I thought you were starting at your birthday. We are. That is my birthday, Jade says. You kneel up and grab her by the shoulders. Do you mean to tell me that I missed your birthday too, and you never said anything? Your voice ratchets up, and it's a struggle to drag it back down. I don't really stop shaking me. Jade's speech is somewhat disturbed by how hard you're shaking her back and forth. You suck. I'm going to buy you a present and a cake, and we're going to have a nice belated birthday, or I'll die trying, you snarl at her. She smacks your hand away and shakes herself off. Carcat, I know you mean well, but I will sick back on you. Now sit your butt down, mister. Jade barks at you. You don't want to test her. Not right now. Or ever. I'm still gonna get you a cake, you mutter, but do as she says anyway for your own well-being. Anyway, as I was saying, December 1st, 2000, I have accepted my gentleman caller's deal after much agonizing on the... Jade frowns and flips the page back. Does he say what the deal was? You ask. Well, I'll read it and you find out. You're so impatient. Jade complains and elbows you. Ow, you whine, rubbing your arm. Why are Jade's elbows so sharp? November 30th, 2000. My gentleman caller was on the island when I got up this morning. I had been heading out to study the brag that I had captured before. I often find that he shows up more often when I study anything equine adjacent, but he didn't seem too fond of the brag. The little goblin thing just pretends to be a horse to trick people, and I don't think that my gentleman caller likes that. He was certainly scowling at the beast. He said that he had a proposition for me, not unusual, of course, as he often suggests ideas for my research when the outcome might benefit him. I can't keep all of the creatures I catch on this island, because they'll compete with each other in ways that's not right for this ecosystem. So if he wants the heart of some such creature, when I need to put it down anyway, then I hardly see the problem. This time he asked me about Fae. He said that his lawyerly types had told him that changelings were getting more and more protections under the law to be regarded as if they were the human children that they replaced. He asked if this bothered me, and I'm quite sure he knew my answer in advance. Jade trails off a little there. Jude said it looked like you changed his mind, though, you tell her softly. He suggested that perhaps if people had real data about what Fae children were like, then such laws would be revoked. All it would require is some data to be gathered and an in-depth study done, the kind that one could not do with the ethics law back home. His proposal was that he steals me a Fae child, a newborn, one that could be swapped for a human, and I study its development. Separating it from its group at the age would ensure that its behavior would be innate, thus people couldn't argue that the good ones would be an exception to any of my findings. I raise it, study it, and run whatever experiments and tests I see fit. Jade reads. Holy fuck, that's evil. That's not even unethical. That's outright evil, Jade. Jade keeps reading, her voice picking up as if her stopping might break her. Wisely, you stay quiet. Naturally, I asked him what the catch was. A chance to prove a cause so dear to my heart, to avenge my poor grandmother who was taken and managed to escape their wretched domain. Surely such a thing would not come without a price. He said there was no price that he would even protect the island from the Fae being able to find the child there, and naturally Beck would protect me too, as he has for all these years. He said there was no catch at all, that what he was offering me was exactly what he wanted. I need to consider this. He says he'll be back tomorrow for my answer. Jade stops. The silence around you both is heavy. Jake accepted the deal. He had his gentleman caller kidnap Jade as a baby from her people and studied her all while pretending that she was family to him. No wonder that he didn't want her reading these things. Jade, I'm so sorry, you whisper and reach out to her. You gently rest your hand on her shoulder as Jade lowers the diary to her lap. Abraxas looks at you both, and you think it perhaps doesn't entirely understand what's happening here. Abraxas, do you have any research notes about me? About Jade, his changeling research project? Jade asks in a voice that sounds far off. Several volumes. Yes, I'll get them for you. Abraxas nods and slips into the bookcase. Several white volumes nudge themselves out of the edge of the shelves, and Jade stands up to get them down. Jade, Karkat, could you leave me alone? Sorry, it's not personal. I just want to read these alone, she whispers. Sure, fuck, that's completely understandable. I'll go. I'll be in the greenhouse if you want to talk or just want company or anything. I'll have my phone, okay? You tell her awkwardly. Jade nods. Her hands are on the cover of one of the white-bound books. The cover reads, Experiments and Observations, Jade, 2000 to 2005. Your fist clenched in rage for her, but this isn't about you or your feelings. This is about Jade. You get up and turn to leave like she asked. Don't tell anyone, please, Jade calls after you. Of course I won't, you nod. With that, you leave Jake's area of the house. You find Beck sleeping in a sunbeam a few rooms away and heft him to his feet. You shove him towards Jake's office, and the bewildered hellhound takes the hint and walks inside. You hope he'll make her feel better at least. Fuck. This is so messed up. Jade's words about how much her grandpa seemed to pay attention to her at times suddenly have a far more sinister ring to them. God, poor Jade. You've half a mind to go down to the creepy taxidermy room and cuss out the taxidermied remains of Jake Harley, but that won't help anyone. You told Jade that you'd be in the greenhouse, so that's where you're going to go. You wonder if it would have been better if Jade hadn't known about this. Maybe you could still track down Joey and Jude without breaking into that room, and Jade could have had a family without knowing all this shit. You and Solux are the reason that this all came out. You went where you weren't supposed to, and now terrible things have happened. The guilt that washes over you is knee-jerk, instinctive, and feels very old. You did a bad thing, and now bad consequences have followed, and it's all your fault. It doesn't feel like that's entirely your voice, though. Sure, you do feel bad for the part you played, and you hate that your friend is suffering. You wish she wasn't, but this isn't all your fault. You didn't offer Jake Harley a kidnapped kid. You didn't take some kind of demon man up on that offer. You didn't study that kid for the rest of your life and write down every little thing and pretend to love her as you did it. That's not your fault. None of it is. But maybe she could have been blissfully ignorant without your actions. She'd have thought her grandpa was a bit of a deadbeat from how he treated the rest of the family, sure. But she wouldn't know this. Is ignorance really better, though? You've lived years in total ignorance of even what you are, so acting like ignorance is better, or your right to keep information from her, is just wrong. It hurts, but she has the right to know the truth. If Jade wants to pretend this never happened, burn the books about her, and swear you to secrecy, she can. That's fine, but she deserved to know. Part of you wishes that you hadn't sent Beck up to see Jade. You're unsettled and nervous enough that you could use some doggy cuddles. You try reading, but your mind can't stay focused on anything. You try to read for any length of time. All you can think about is Jade up there and what she must be reading. Your phone pings and you're grateful for the distraction. Hey, car kitty. Or maybe not kitty, more like bird. Car bird. What? Hi? Sorry. What's up, man? I'm back on Jade's island at the moment. Not just me. Jade is here too, obviously. What's up with you? Oh, not much. Just stuck in the woods, going nuts. Rose is driving me crazy, and Mom is on some project, and Solux is soaking up sunbeams and sleeping. Not that you're my latest resort, or my last resort or anything. I was just giving you the update. Sure. So what's up with you? I'm just in the greenhouse. Cool. So I was thinking that we should make plans to do something when we all get back to Salem, you know? Yeah, sure. Are you alright, man? Because I'm not really feeling this conversation on both ends here. Sorry, it's not you. Can I get back to you later? Sure, but is something wrong? I'll get back to you later. Sorry, it's not you. You can't concentrate on talking to Dave when you're thinking about Jade so much, not to mention the risk of telling Dave something he shouldn't know. You probably fucked up that conversation, though. Good job there, Carcat. When Jade comes down, she interrupts you, going back and forth with yourself over whether or not interrupting Jade to bring her lunch would be a good idea. On the one hand, it's a terrible idea. She's not studying and in need of a snack. This is deep personal trauma. Sandwiches are hardly the appropriate response. On the other hand, though, Jade's situation is already terrible enough that she probably is going to end up neglecting her physical needs as she processes everything. Sandwiches could be just what she needs, and a practical way for you to show support without intruding on what she's reading. Jade comes in the room and throws that entire thought process out. Her eyes are somewhat red-rimmed behind her glasses, and her skin is red and blotchy. You leap up to your feet when you see her, but hesitate about whether to rush over and hug her or not. You err on the side of not doing that. I need to go, Jade croaks, her voice rough. Where to? You ask. Joey said that I can stay with them until school starts back on, or even after. I told them everything, she says. That's good. I'm really glad you can stay with them. I'm sure they understand far better than I could. It's good we found them. You agree. They can give her proper support about how their father can be. Wait, if she's going there, then what about you? Surely you can't stay here alone, right? Do you want me to go pack my things now? You ask. Yeah, I think I will too. We can use the return port ticket to get back to the closest port to Hauntswitch, unless you want me to use yours to go right to school, Jade says with a sniff and a nod. No, I'll stay with you until they pick you up. Besides, I can fly, remember? You smile at her, shooting for reassuring. Jade nods and the pair of you head up to her room. You hurry about to pack up the things that you can find that are yours. Jade doesn't seem to be talking much, and you don't know if that's a good sign or a bad one. Wait, Abraxas, you gasp, your hand freezing as you reach for a lost sock under Jade's bed. Yeah? Jade mumbles and separates two Squiddles plushies. We can't leave Abraxas here. It was starving without new books. We can't just... You trail off. Jade waves a hand vaguely in what you're going to take as permission. You snag your lost sock and stuff it into your bag. With that done, you hurry along to Jake's library. There's books and diaries strewn all over the place. Jade certainly went through a lot of things here after you left. Abraxas, you call out. Yes, it responds. You turn a seat on a shelf. We're leaving, and I don't know if we're coming back. I don't know if Jade is ever going to come back here. You'll starve without new books, right? You ask. Abraxas nods silently. Do you want to come with me? I have books in my dorm, and if Jade lets me, I can bring these books with me too. I don't want you to die, you say. Is this absurd? You're an angel, and you're worried about the life of a bookworm. You're pretty sure that Cancrete would think this is stupid or wrong of you. How can it be, though? Abraxas surely thinks, feels pain, has emotions. Just because it's different to you doesn't mean that you can't just ignore all of that. I don't need these books. I would rather keep them, but I can move on to a new collection, Abraxas tells you. Alright, come with me, and I'll ask Jade. You offer and hold out your hand. Abraxas wiggles forward off the shelf and onto your hand. You go back to Jade's room and find her sat on the end of the bed, petting back with a distant look on her face. Jade, Abraxas wants to come, but can it take the library? You start. No, leave it. All those books they're not leaving here. No one's reading his research shit. Jade hisses, and her form shifts slightly to something more malevolent and savage, the kind of fae that show up in old horror stories about them from the Dark Ages. It's gone in a second, of course, and Beck licks the palm of her hand with its glowing tongue, calming her down. Are you okay with the front pocket of my bag? It's not the actual holding part, you ask Abraxas, holding her hand near the additional pocket. Abraxas squirms inside instead of answering, and you turn your attention back to Jade. Let's go then, you say to her. Since the two of you are traveled here from a commercial port, you just have to fill out the paperwork online. Yours is pretty simple. You're not taking anything back with you that you didn't arrive with, aside from Abraxas, and nothing about you is different. Sure, you know what your species is now, but you're sure as shit not telling anyone else that. Jade's form takes a good while longer to fill out than yours. Peering over, you can see that she's filling out details for Beck. Will he come with you? You ask. He refused last time, but I want to try again, she tells you. You look over at Beck, who seems to sense your gaze. Despite his lack of eyes, he makes a quiet and deep boof sound in response. Both of you hit submit on your application. The nice thing about going from basically deserted island to pretty low traffic port in Massachusetts is that you can get a slot very soon. The three of you leave almost right away to walk to the teleportation circle, and you hold your breath as you walk past Jade's grandpa's taxidermied body, but Jade stoically doesn't look at him. You deeply hope that Beck will come with you, and you watch as Jade crouches down in the teleportation circle and calls Beck over, patting her knees and making kissy noises at him. Beck whines at the edge of the circle and looks back at the temple. He perceives it somehow, with the lack of eyes. Come on, Beck. You don't need to stay here on your own. He's dead, and the stupid temple with its stupid box are all worthless. You don't have to do what he told you to, Jade pleads. Beck looks back at Jade, and after a few seconds, he walks into the teleportation circle with both of you. Jade almost sobs as she buries her face in Beck's long white fur. The world around you smears, and you are all at once in Massachusetts Port, or whichever one is closest to Haunt Switch, at least. Miss, your dog needs to be on a leash, the teleportation attendant warns Jade. He's never been on a leash in his life. Jade sniffs and stands up. Well, he needs to be on one now, the man tells her stiffly. You improvise a leash with a very loose length of string that in no way is restraining Beck, or could in any way be described as leading him anywhere. Beck smugly trots past the attendant, and you hope he'll be well behaved enough until you get out of the port. Jade is on her phone as she walks out with Beck's string barely held in one hand. She's projecting a very strong, do not talk to me or get in my way aura. It's doing a lot to keep the crowd out of her way, and you're happy to coast along in her wake. You pull out your own phone and find a way back to Salem, only to wince when you find out that you're on 5% battery. You also have messages waiting in Trollian, but you should probably prioritize finding a route home over talking to Dave. It's most likely Dave after your talk with him earlier. Perhaps you could find a power socket after Jade is picked up so you can charge your phone and plan your route. That's the best idea. Focus on Jade first. Joey says she's in the drop-off area, Jade tells you as you both exit the port arrivals area. Oh, that way, you exclaim as you spot a sign and hurry over with her. You did see cars outside the Half Harley Manor when you were there, but you were more focused on the weirdos spying on the house at the time. Joey honks the horn of her car, nearly startling you out of your skin. She scrambles out of the driver's side door and rushes over to both of you. She grabs Jade in a hug and only stops when Jude gets out of the car and takes over. I am so sorry, Jude tells Jade softly. She must have caught them up to speed on whatever else she was reading after you left her. Excuse me. Is this, her dog? I'm a vet, and Jade said she had a dog, but this is not a dog, Joey says as Beck yawns widely, wider than a canine jaw should hinge, and revealing his glowing green mouth and a surplus row of teeth behind his main ones, like a shark. He's dog adjacent. He's a very good boy, but if he can't get in your house because of the wards and what have you, then troll this guy and he'll absolutely pick up. That's the demon who was over before, you tell her, and quickly write Solix's Trollian handle on a receipt that you found in your pocket. Right. Thank you for staying with her. Do you need me to drop you somewhere, or Joey asks. No, I'm good. Just look after Jade, you tell her. I'm sorry, Carcat. I know I said about the holidays, but Jade says, and her voice starts to wobble. No, absolutely not. Shut your stupid face. I'll be fine. You look after yourself, and if you need anything at all, you message or call me. Doesn't matter when. You know I stay awake far too much anyway, alright? You snap. You're not letting her go down that train of thought. You squeeze her into a hug until she stops trying to apologize. Jade gets into the car with Beck hopping in after her, and you stand there and wave them off. You did the right thing. She's with her family. It just sucks that you're alone again. You should get back to your dorm. It's cold out and you'd rather be back there. First, you need to charge your phone. You put your hand on your bag of holding and mentally call your phone charger, but nothing comes. You take your hand out, visualize it with more clarity, put your hand back in, still nothing. You try to just think of chargers, and when you pull your hand out, it's your laptop charger in your hand. Is your phone charger not in your... With perfect clarity, you can see in your mind's eye your phone charger plugged into the socket by Jade's bed. That's where you left it, and where it still is. Motherfucker, you hiss. Quickly, you open up Google Maps and work out that there's a path from here to Salem. You screenshot it, set it as your lock screen background, and put your phone into teleport mode. Hopefully, that zoomed-out version will work for directions. Looking around, you find that the port is reasonably busy, but you're able to hurry off around near some dumpster and fade into invisibility. You don't want to take your shirt off because it's cold as hell, but if you don't, then your wings will rip through everything. Grudgingly, you pull your shirt and your coat off, stowing them in your bag of holding. You flip the bag around to your front and shove your phone in your pocket. You can do this. Your wings unfold behind you, majestic despite your lack of visibility and proximity to dumpsters. There's not a lot of room to take off here, and you've never done it from flat ground before. You remember how fast you soared upwards before and take a step forward so you're as far from any wall or near obstacles as you can be. Lifting your wings high above, you crouch down and then flap downwards with as much force as you can. It's a feat of self-control that you don't scream on your unbearably fast descent to the sky. And to credit Solix's previous instructions that you managed to level out and not just fall right back down. Massachusetts spreads out below you, or at least the port in the parking lot does. You hold your arms to your chest against the chill and try to gain some more altitude. When you're high enough, you very carefully fish your phone out of your pocket and peer at the map you screenshotted, trying to orient yourself and work out where you need to go. After a bit of squinting at the ground, you're pretty sure you can spot the road that you're meant to follow and set off in that direction. You look down at all the cars and the people below you and feel thankful that they can't see you. You wonder how many of them are like you and just don't know it. How many of them are going home to families or partners in warm little houses. You know that you did the right thing to leave the island so Jade could stay with her family, but you'd really been looking forward to your first holiday break with other people. You've no family to go home to, and your partners are in a house that you can't really stay in. It's not fair to ask Roxy to allow you to stay where it might distress her if she forgets who you are. Maybe you could ask June if you could stay with her, but it'd be rude as fuck to invite yourself into someone else's home, especially when you've not been there before. It was different with Jade. She invited you. So you're flying back to your empty dorm. Alone. You're drawing close to Salem University when your phone dies and you have to settle for navigating by common sense and how well you recognize the area. It helps that Salem University's buildings are weird as shit. As soon as you spot the huge tower, you're able to circle it and pick out your dorm. Your landing on the roof is far from graceful, but you don't injure yourself or destroy anything else, so you'll count it as a slightly scraped up win. Carefully, you fold your wings away. You take your bag off your front, put your shirt back on, and then reappear. The roof door is locked, but you have the keys to the building, so it's no problem to get in and go downstairs to your dorm. It's so quiet in the halls that closing your front door and activating the silence spell has no effect at all. You walk into your room and carefully put your bag down on your bed and open up the pocket that Abraxas went into. The bookworm pokes its head out and perks up visibly at the sight of books behind you. You lift it up and set it on your stack of books, smiling slightly at the eager noise Abraxas makes before vanishing into them. It's late. You're tired from flying and emotionally tired on top of that. You should probably just go to sleep and eat in the morning and then go out and buy a new phone charger. You shut the door even though no one else is there and get about half of your clothes off before falling asleep. You think it's morning when you wake up. It's overcast outside, that hazy, nothingy kind of light that could mean it's 9 a.m. or 1 p.m., and you'd never know. Your phone is still as dead as it was yesterday, so you pocket the stupid thing, wash and dress, and then leave with your bag. You swing by the cafeteria for breakfast, which means that it is morning, or 10:30 at least, and then walk into Salem proper. It's cold outside, not raining or snowing, but just bleak. You can't even say that you don't know what you're feeling. You do. It's a familiar feeling. You're lonely. You can't contact any of your friends or either of your... God, it still feels so weird to think of the words. You can't contact either of your friends or either of your boyfriends. That's so weird. How have you convinced one person to date you, let alone two? You have no family, and the closest thing that you have to that was not great and recently murdered. Jade needs space, and the last time you checked, your work wasn't keen on you coming in. Maybe you could talk them around. You could show up with your mildly cursed book and show them what you learned in hopes that they'll let you back in. Perhaps Kanaya is about and might be interested in spending some time with you outside of work, or would tolerate you hanging around the library when she is working. That just seems like you being a nuisance, though. The wish to have someone to talk to builds in your heart until you can feel it like a scorching ball of plasma in your chest, a miniature sun radiating out a light that you hope people will notice. Surprisingly, no one in the Apple Store reacts to your secret feelings of loneliness. Normally, if it was your phone that you'd bought, then you just buy an old charger as long as the cable fit. But Rose got you this one, and you're not going to break it with some knockoff charger. You won't take it back to the shop and have them shake their heads because you didn't buy the proper thing. You don't even know if that's really a thing or not, or if it's just something tech companies make you think is a thing, so you buy their overpriced shit instead of the off-brand, or the non-branded stuff. But you're not risking it for the phone that Rose bought you. With your charger purchased, you hesitate. You could go back to your dorm, but part of you wants to do something else now that you're out. You settle on going to that cafe you usually go with Dave. Maybe you can take a picture of a pretentious drink and send it to him. He'd probably like that. As you walk, the hope of something to ease that loneliness in your chest burns brighter, like a prayer. Not that you would pray to anyone, but that's how it feels. You slip into the cheerfully decorated coffee place. It has a smattering of wintry iconography from various faiths and pantheons, as well as just general festive cheer. There's not much of a queue, so you just get served almost immediately. You order a caramel macchiato with extra cream on top and tell the barista to go bonkers on the decorations. It's one of the baristas that you recognize, and you think you and Dave have developed somewhat of a reputation here. But it's quiet, so she's able to have fun with throwing all the decorations that she can on your drink, and you tip well as a thanks. The seat by the window is free, and moreover, you think that there are PowerPoints in the bench's seats there, so that's where you and your dumb drink head to. The bell over the door goes as you're settling down, but you ignore it in favor of biting into the plastic encasing your charger. When you finally pop it open, you reach down and plug it in. When you connect it to your phone, it takes a moment before it comes back to life. A long, suffering groan escapes you, and the damn thing seems intent on running an update now of all times. You're just contemplating bashing your brains out of the table, on the table, when you feel the familiar presence of someone else near you. Looking up, you see a familiar face and a curious eye watching you. Carcat, I thought that was you, he says, coming closer. Eridan, what are you doing here? You ask, surprised to see him. Eridan gestures to his coffee, as if the answer is obvious. You'd guess it kind of is. Are you meeting someone, or? Eridan asks curiously. Oh, no, all my friends are off somewhere else, at home or with family. It's just me. How about you? You ask him. Same. Mind if I join you? He asks, gesturing to the empty seat across from you. You had been feeling lonely, hadn't you? And now there's an opportunity for you to spend some time with another person, someone you at least consider a class friend. It's a free country, you tell him, and pull your things back over the side of the table to make room. So I've been told, Eridan says dryly and sits down. Fair point, you snort. So have you started any work, or any of the work we were? Eridan starts to ask, but you just groan loudly. No, I haven't. I was working on an assignment my boss gave me, and I really need to get to running a long-term spell for my magical languages class, since that's actually time-sensitive, and you groan. Responsibilities suck. I haven't started either. He confides in you with a small smile. Oh, good. We can be bad students together, you tell him with a false cheer. So you weren't tempted to go back to where you came from for the break? Eridan asks and sips at his coffee. No way. Fuck that place. I was staying with a friend, but that fell through because she had a family thing come up. So here I am. What about you? You ask. It doesn't look like your phone is going to be done updating anytime soon, so you should actually drink this drink and just describe it to Dave later. I wanted to stay here, Eridan shrugs. Where'd you even come from before this anyway? I don't remember if I asked you before, you ask. Oh, Eridan pauses to take another sip of his coffee. New Amsterdam. I don't think I've heard of that place, but my geography isn't the best in the world, you admit. The name rings some kind of familiar bell to you, though. Northeast. Not that it matters much. Do you have any plans for Christmas? Eridan says, moving on. No, not really. I've got no one to spend time with, like always. Probably just get Chinese food and read or watch movies by myself. You shrug. Still not plan on studying, then? Eridan grins, leaning forward and resting his chin on his hand. Okay, fuck you for that, but no. It's Christmas, and at the very least I'm going to treat myself to not studying if I don't want to. What about you? Got any plans? You ask, trying to remind yourself not to be too much of a jerk. Well, no. I'm down here on my own, you know? He shrugs. Oh, did you have something you used to do back where you were from? You ask curiously. Yeah, sorta. I don't really want to get into it, but I guess I'm on my own now, he says dismissively. You can pick up the don't press me on this vibe that he's putting out there. I guess it's not that I even celebrate Christmas either. It's not as if there was much point. After the event, religion didn't really work, you know? I didn't have any memories of traditions that I'd done before that, if I had any, so I wasn't doing anything out of habit. I could have chosen to celebrate any number of winter religious holidays and observances if I wanted. I mean, look at the decorations here, you point out. The coffee place is wreathed with little symbols and sigils of all sorts of gods and faith that celebrate things around this time of year. It's nice. You wouldn't get this back in Georgia, that's for sure. I'm pretty sure none of those gods would have been pleased to be strung up with the others as if they were equals. Eridan frowns. Maybe, but it's not as if there's any of them around to smite anyone anymore, is there? You laugh. More's the pity. Eridan sighs. What? You say in shock, nearly inhaling your coffee as you do so. Oh, come on, Carr. You were telling me you can't think of anyone who couldn't use a good smiting? Some piece of shit town that could do with the endless locusts? Some asshole who deserves a bolt from the sky or being turned into a pillar of salt? No one comes to mind at all? Eridan drags out that last bit teasingly. A few choice politicians flit through your mind, some notable bigots, people who run hate groups. Hell, half the people Cancri was watching could be candidates for that. I know what you mean, but no. If you kill someone like that, smite them or whatever, then all you've done is take their chance away, or take away their chance to fix their shit and do better. There have been people who have been goddamn neo-Nazis, and they got out and turned their lives around, and even work to do the same for other people. I've read things about that. But if they'd been struck down, then they couldn't do that, you point out. You really wish you could remember the name of the person you're thinking of. There was a whole article about him and how he talked about deprogramming people from hate movements, and how they were like cults, leaving you with no escape. You're way too optimistic about people, Eridan sighs. Well, I'm willing to die on the hill of people can be good if you help them to be, you huff. You're pretty sure that's not the party line of angels, if what Matuna told you was any indication, but that's what you're going to hold yourself to. Here's hoping that you don't actually die on that hill then. Eridan smirks and holds his coffee up to you as if to toast. Better live on it, I'll drink to that. You laugh and clank your cup against his. You sip your drink and think about how you wish you'd gotten to show it to Dave, and then you feel lonely again. That's a pretty shitty thing to feel when you have company right there. Stop drifting off and talk to him. Maybe I should revive my Christmas tradition of watching Christmas movies, you say thoughtfully, and lick the edge of your coffee cup where the edible glitter and sprinkles have started melding with the cream in the edges of the cup. I've never seen any Christmas movies, actually. I'm pretty curious now. What are good ones, Car? Eridan asks brightly. You've never seen... Okay, you have to watch some of them at least. You insist. Together, Eridan says. He doesn't sound skeptical or dismissive. You'd actually say he seems hopeful. Maybe he's as lonely as you are. Yeah, we should. My roommate's back at home, so I won't have any competition for the TV. You nod. I have myself a place off campus as well. We could alternate and make it a regular thing, he suggests. Making friends as an adult is hard, but you think you're doing okay lately. You smile at Eridan and nod happily. He has to go before too long, but you both agree that you're definitely going to meet up. Yeah, maybe he's as lonely as you are. I'll go through my collection and put together a list, and we can arrange a date to sit down and school you in Christmas movies, you tell him firmly. I'll wait to hear them then, Eridan laughs. He drains the last of his drink and bids you goodbye. He ducks out the front of the door and into the cold air outside, and you watch him pull his purple scarf to his nose and walk away. Your phone finally buzzes on the table, having come back to life at last. Immediately, your troll app starts pinging. Trollian app. And I gotta turn down the AC, it's like cold as fuck in here. Give me a second. Goddamn 73 in the house. It's too cold. It's too cold. Okay. Alright. Okay. Okay. This is Dave messaging. Hey, so I know you said that you'd message me later, but it's pretty late and I thought I'd message you. So here I am, messaging you. Oh, you're offline now. Okay, then I guess I'll talk to you later. It is definitely that later that I've heard so much about, Carcat. Look, if I said something, you can tell me and I'll leave whatever it was alone. I can be told things like that, you know. Not the most sensitive, delicate summer flower, you know. God damn, this all looks super needy now. Google how to delete Trollian messages. Oh shit, you can't. I am filled with regret. Later. Okay, so I've messaged Jade and she says that she's back at the Harley house in MA and that she left you at the port. So I guess you were busy packing or what have you. Ah shit, you were probably still asleep or something from time lag. Hit me up. Hi. Good job worrying my Moira so he wakes me up from a great nap because he's worried about you. I'm with Rose that you probably just didn't charge your phone or something and you maybe just wanted to be alone. But I'm sending you this so that if you get this and you're, say, naked in your room, that you have a warning of me coming over and you can put clothes on. Or, you know, don't. Oh shit, that last one was from an hour ago. You must have only just left before you got there. Kiki, where the fuck are you? You're not in your dorm, or ours, or Jade and June's. Not that I know how you'd get into the others. I've seen your door opening spell and what it does. You're not in the cafeteria either. Fuck. What if one of those demons that Cancri got Cancri got to you? Shit. Message me if you get this. The message still open. That message is still open, and Solux is still online. You hurriedly start typing back. Holy shit, I did not mean to scare you all that badly. I left my charger at Jay's place and I didn't have a replacement. I'm literally out just having bought one now and grabbed coffee. I'm fine. Fuck. And then he ceases trolling him. Oh, you thought you were going to get more conversation there. A flash of light grabs your attention and you turn your head to see Solux on the other side of the glass. He flips you off with both hands and comes inside with a scowl on his face, dropping into the seat that Aridin had been in only minutes ago. My phone literally just came back to life. It insists on doing a super inconvenient update for ages, you tell him off the bat. It's fine, I don't care. You just didn't tell anyone that you were going to be in an entirely different country, and they've gotten all of a fuss that always puts me on edge. Whatever. It's whatever. Solux shrugs in a way that doesn't offset the receding panic on his face at all. It was very much not whatever. I'm surprised that you couldn't magically track me down, you tell him. If I could do that easily, then you wouldn't have to have lived in Georgia, Solux retorts. Counterpoint, if you could do that, and you let me stay there anyway, I'd have to stab you, you point out. I can't say I've ever enjoyed being stabbed, so I'd try to avoid that. Solux snorts. Sorry for worrying you, especially after Kinkri, you tell him gently. I don't care. You can look after yourself, especially knowing what you know now. You don't have to tell me where you are at all times. Solux says defensively, and you feel very much like this is a Kismesis thing that you don't entirely understand. I just shouldn't worry, Dave, you guess? Yeah, that'd be great for me, thanks, he says flatly. Solux reaches over, steals the last half of your gingerbread cookie that you got with your drink, and vanishes. The fucking asshole. You sigh and open a message up to Dave. Hey, I'm really sorry I scared you. I lost my charger and I had to buy a new one. I didn't realize that I was going to get everyone stressed out. Oh, that's cool. I'm glad you're okay. No, it wasn't cool. I should have messaged you from my laptop. I just didn't think about it. I was so drained from the journey that I pretty much fell asleep as soon as I got back to my room. I'm not really used to people worrying about where I am or caring when I get back. Well, now you just made me sad. Shit, sorry. No, don't be. I'm sure I was freaking out over nothing, which is a great look, and honestly, which is a great look, and honestly, I'm not usually that uncool, but I just got this feeling that something was up, and you seemed so weird last time we talked. Jade seemed really off as well when I talked to her. What's going on? If she's not told you, then I don't really feel like I can. I know that's shitty, but it's not really my information to spill. It's fine, though. She and Beck are with Jude and Joey, and I'm back here. I have a new charger now, so it's all okay. Except Solux stole my gingerbread cookie, the asshole. Oh, that's what he's eating in his little blanket nest over there. That's why my bed is going to be full of crumbs later. See, no one is happy with this. That sure is how it is. I'm really mad about this, actually. The cookie thing, you mean? No, but if Solux asks, yes, he owes me one. He now owes me 10 in repayment. I mean, I went to our coffee shop and I ordered a dumb coffee with the intention of taking a picture and showing you, but my phone insisted that it had to do an update right now and not let me do anything, so I had to drink it before it went cold. Aw, Karka, that's so sweet. It was also very sweet thanks to all the sugary decoration. It was also very sweet thanks to all the sugary decorations. It was an abomination, Dave. I am so proud, and I shall envision it in my mind fondly. Goodness only knows what Aridin thought of it. Aridin who? This isn't a knock-knock joke. Oh, fuck, I hate those things. June hits me with them so often. My sympathies. He's a guy from my magical histories class. The one I have without any of the rest of our little coven of losers. So I sit with him and talk to him. But he's like me in that he doesn't remember shit from before the event. So he's still in town. That's kind of nice. Not that he doesn't remember stuff, obviously, that kind of sucks, but it's nice that you have someone else there to talk to. I mean, you can come up here, but I don't know about Mom. I wouldn't want to put you in that position. I like your mom plenty, but I wouldn't want to impose on you their long-term and risk upsetting her health and well-being there. I absolutely wouldn't expect you to put me there just to stop me being on my own down here. I'm sorry, but yeah, you're kind of right. It's sweet that you understand, and you're not weird about it. A lot of people are weird about it. I mean, June gets it, but I think she takes it a little more personally, just with how Mom reacts to her being around on the rare occasion that she's up here. I'm sure it's tough. I wouldn't want to make things any more difficult for you. Thanks, man. I guess I should let everyone else know I'm not dead. Probably. We should catch up later or something when you're back in your dorm or whatever. Yeah, sounds good. Okay. E-messages Rose. Hey, thought I should tell you that I'm not dead. I wasn't under the impression that you were. Oh, good. Forgot your charger or something. Exactly that. Just bought a new one now. I probably had a spare in my room. I didn't think about that, but also I wouldn't go in your room without asking. That's fair, and very respectful. I did try to tell Dave and Solux that nothing would be wrong with you, but they didn't listen. I suppose you had best contact the others, since no doubt Dave messaged everyone. I was planning on it. Okay, talk to you later, Rose. Oh, the fucking June text is so dark. There's like no contrast on the screen. Hi, I'm not dead, in case you're wondering if I was. I'm also not dead. Were you checking to see if I was? No, I'm just terrified Dave. I just terrified Dave by being dumb is all, and Solux by proxy, I suppose. Yeah, he couldn't get a hold of you or something. Yeah, it was my fault. How's your holiday going? Pretty nice. It's good to be home with my dad. Started to cut and run, but he just got back from the store, and I have to help him unpack. Oh, nice. Talk to you later. Later. Now he's messaging Jade. In case Dave worried you, I'm fine. I forgot my charger in your room, and I had to get a new one. Oh, that's good. He really was in a mess about it. Yeah, that's pretty much my fault. I left off on I left off my last message to him weirdly and then just vanished. I haven't told anyone about anything to do with your grandpa, by the way. Yeah, I figured as much from how they were surprised by me being back here. I will tell them. There's no rush, Jade. This is personal, and I'm sure they'd understand. How's Beck finding the house? Oh, he's loving it. Joey and Jude used to have a dog when they were kids, so he's being spoiled rotten. They have already ordered him a whole bunch of dog toys, as well as dragged the old ones that they had for him out. Lucky boy. Please pet your hellhound for me, since I can't. I will. Alright, well, I'd better go back to the dorm. I'll talk to you later. Okay. Well, that's everyone calm down. Although, it really seems to only be Dave who thought that you were in any kind of danger. Him and Solux when you weren't there, or when you weren't... Him and Solux, and then Solux when you weren't where he thought you'd be. Seeing as the last of your cookie has been stolen by an unscrupulous demon, you may as well go back to your dorm. Your phone has enough battery to last you a little while, and you can plug it into charge fully when you get there. Later, you do look up all of the Christmas movies that you have and send a list over to Eridan. You're kind of at a loss for what else to do with yourself, so you just end up in a hole of YouTube videos, Wikipedia articles, and rereading your favorite books with meals interspersed between them. When you go to bed at the end of the day, you've accomplished basically nothing. This emotional funk is doing you absolutely no good, so the next day, after you've finished breakfast in the cafeteria, you head over to the library instead of going back to your room. You spy Kanaya in the office and hurry over as quickly as you can. She looks up when you open the door and narrows her eyes at you. You're supposed to be on leave, she warns you. I know, my situation is terribly sad. I was meant to be spending the holidays with a friend, but she had a family emergency, I guess, and now I'm back here. Please let me stay. I'm going out of my mind. You whine and drop into a chair next to her. You fix your vampiric friend with your best pleading look, not caring how pathetic it makes you for doing it. I'm not sure that you're expressing that you're emotionally vulnerable is a point in favor of getting you back to work, Kanaya says with a frown. She scoots her chair over to you and peers at you. I'd rather be with you than in my dorm alone. Does that help? You ask her hopefully. The rest of your friends are all at home then? Kanaya asks. Yeah, you nod. Kanaya sighs and looks at you sympathetically. You can stay, at least socially. You'll have to talk to Miss Paint if you want to start working again, though. But I won't say no to the company, especially at this time of year. Kanaya agrees. Yes! You hiss in delight. Even though you're in the muted office, it's still a library, and you should be careful to keep your voice down. Oh, speaking of Miss Paint, I should probably tell her that I managed to read that mildly cursed book without letting it do its thing through me. You tell her. Hey, that's really good. Not leaving yourself physically open to the influence of books is a hard skill to learn, especially as some are better at it than others. A general rule is that it's worse when you touch them. I suppose she'll want you to move on to a stronger book next at a distance, and then by touch and so on. Kanaya explains. That sounds like a lot of work, but I'd also rather do a lot of work rather than risk picking up a random book and have it blast my brain out my skull or something, you say with a nod. Sounds like you have your priorities in the right order then. Kanaya nods, a smile playing at the edge of her mouth. Well, I'd better go find Miss Paint. I think it'll go better for me if I tell her that I'm here instead of her catching me. You sigh. You're not even entertaining the idea that you could evade her awareness in her own library. Leaving Kanaya, you walk off to Miss Paint's office, but she's not there. You wander around the library more, enjoying its atmosphere and the general lack of students. There's still some, of course, mostly post-grad, but not nearly as many as you'd find on a normal day. Wandering past the office once more doesn't bring you your boss to light, so you take a trip down the stairs in the restricted area. You don't have the authorization to get into the book cages yet, but you can at least go down there now. The elevator door slides open, and sure enough, your boss is in the cage with the most dangerous books. You wait quietly off to the side, not wanting to startle her and put her at risk of anything. "You are supposed to be recuperating, Mr. Vantis," she says without looking around at you. "Yeah, my plans fell through. I'm back and I wanted to be here," you tell her. "Oh, Miss Paint shakes her head and leaves the cage, locking it behind her. "Is something wrong?" you ask her worriedly. "The books are behaving a little strangely. Changes in the pecking order in there, I think," Miss Paint says, but doesn't seem too concerned. "Speaking of books, I got through that impossible geometry one and managed to stop it doing magic through me," you tell her. "Well done. Well, perhaps you can advance to this one." Miss Paint smiles and steps into the slightly less dangerous cage of books. She plucks a black-covered volume out and locks the door after her. When she's free of the caged area entirely, she places the book in your hands. Interpreting Dreams by Sigmund Freud rests in your open hands. To the touch, something feels a little off about the book, but it's not doing anything weird. Gifted from one psychologist to another after an academic dispute about Freud's work. It was under the pretense of mending fences, but he'd managed to get a rather unscrupulous witch to curse it before handing it over. See what you can make of it. Have a seat down here and read, Miss Paint suggests, waving a hand to the table and chairs in the restricted room. "All right," you nod and hold the book up close to your face. It just looks like an older copy of the title. Visually, there's nothing untoward. "I'll leave you to it." Your boss nods and leaves the elevator. "She's not kicking out of the library, at least, and perhaps you can show her that you can work through this task, then she'll allow you to do actual library work afterwards." You settle into a chair and mentally steel yourself for whatever may be hidden within this book. Opening, you skip past the addition notes because no one ever reads those, and go straight to the beginning of the actual text. In the following pages, I shall demonstrate that there is a psychological technique which makes it possible to interpret dreams, and that on the application of this technique, every dream will reveal itself as a psychological structure, full of significance, and one which may be assigned to a specific place in the psychic activities of the waking state. Your eyes roll back in your head and your head falls forward. You flick your head back up, shaking water away from your face. Leaning closer to the motel mirror, you get a better look at your face in the crappy lighting of the room, and all of the soundtrack of maniacal laughter from the other room. "Will you shut up?" You snarl and glare at your face. The laughing doesn't stop. You turn your face in the light and see that, no, there's still a gold/yellow tint to your skin. It doesn't go away when you scowl. Not that scowling has ever worked for anything, but you live in hope. "You're the worst, you know that?" You snap, sticking your head back in the main room again. Solix's whole body is shaking with laughter which only ratchets up when he sees your face again. "If you could actually die laughing, I won't be sympathetic," you grumble. "I can't, oh, your face!" Solix crackles. Grumbling, you return to the mirror and squirt more cheap sample soap in your hands and scrub at your face. It's when you're midway through it that you feel an insistent jerk in your chest. A demand come back home from, as it happens, an insistent jerk. Fuck. Looking at your face that's still stained with gold, and Solix is still laughing in the other room. You no longer have time for this. You wipe your face with a cheap towel and walk towards the bed where Solix is still on his back giggling. You smack him in the knee, which doesn't help any. "Hilarious. Fix it," you insist, pointing at your face. "Nope," he giggles, his tails wrap around your forearms and pull you down to sit on the bed next to him. "Yeah, except I have to go back to my maker now, and if he sees this, then you won't ever see me again on account of me being dead or locked in solitary until the universe ends. They wouldn't let me fall and risk letting me be happy by being near you," you tell him sharply, and that bursts the bubble of Solix's amusement. "So go later. Stay here instead. If you're so sore about your stupid face, you could get me back. Besides, food's gonna be here soon, and when—" He starts, leaning up and wrapping his arms around the back of your neck. "I can't. I have to go. I'm going to go. Believe me, I'd rather be here, but I can't stay, and the only reason it's not hurting yet is because I'm determined that I will go back. The moment I start defying him is the moment this command really starts hurting," you explain. Already the pull in your chest is getting very unpleasant, but you're trying not to take that out on Solix because it's not his fault. "Wait, it hurts?" Solix lets you go, his eyes wide as he stares at you. "Yeah, it goes all the way up to agonizing, where you literally can't think of anything else, or even notice if you hurt yourself getting there. I'm sure your maker doesn't do that to you, but mine does," you tell him stiffly. "It's more like something I feel compelled to do, but I can ignore it if I want to," Solix says, and you can see the horror dawning on his face. Solix sits up properly, the sheets of crappy motel bed pooling around his hips. He reaches out and gently touches his hand to your face, and you can feel your skin tingle. You're sure that your face is back to normal now. Is there anything you can do to stop it hurting? Or, he asks, but you shake your head. I have to go. I'm sorry. You cut him off. It's not as if you want to go. You had anticipated staying. There was a whole plan for your night, but not anymore. If he asks you to stay anymore, it'll just hurt both of you. I wish you could switch sides, Solix says softly. No, you don't. You hate your side as much as I hate mine. You snort. Not hell, my side, Solix says petulantly. I'm pretty sure I'm already on that side. You grin at him. You stand up, carefully removing your wrists from his tails. You wave a hand at yourself and summon clothes onto your form. 5 minutes? He asks hopefully. You really want to say yes. I can't. You should probably drive off when you can. I'll go a ways from here before I fly back up, but you don't want them spotting you. Best move on, yeah? You suggest, and he nods. You hesitate for a moment and step closer to the bed again. You kiss him quickly and then lean back a little so you don't end up getting entirely sidetracked by him. He is very distracting after all. You hesitate. You swear you can feel Kankri's judging eyes on your back. You know how livid he would be about all this. Not just you being involved with a demon. Maybe if this was love, then he could perhaps suggest that you are being magnanimous by loving even the lowest of species. But you don't love him. Or, you do, but... You do kind of, but that's not the part that makes you feel a prickle of nerves up your spine. You force past it. I hate you, you tell him. Hate you, Solix replies just as quietly. And I love you too. I'll try to work on stuff when I'm gone. I might have a lead that could help. See you soon, you tell him, and with all your willpower, you step out of the room. It's cold outside, the motel drizzling with rain, so you hurry along as quickly as you can without attracting attention. When you're far enough away, you lift your head and you jerk your head up from the book, still reeling. Your head feels heavy, and you try to focus on the words on the page before your eyes. It's trying to drag you back into sleep again. That's the curse. You slam the book shut instantly, and your head clears. So much for resisting that. You rub your face in that dream. Maybe that was a memory. It comes back to you. You fumble for your phone and see that you've been asleep for 2 hours. You're starting to suspect that Miss Paint assigned you this book so that you'd have a rest somewhere, whether you wanted to or not. You flick over to trolling real quick. This is, okay. Slightly, a little NSFW detail. A little bit. So, do we understand? And obviously there's implications, but the gold on Carquette's face that Solix had to get off of him, that Solix was, or that Carquette was trying to wash off, we all get the implication there, right? I don't know if like non-Homestuck people will get the implication there. The idea is that all bodily fluids are like the same color as your blood color. So the gold, you know, they were in a hotel. I'm just, okay. We get that. That's that's, so that's the implication. It's okay, guys. He just bled all over his face. Okay. Solix, I need to ask you something. It's really important. Yawn. I'm not your personal Google, you know. I think I just remembered something from my past. Interested now? Suddenly very interested and mildly alarmed. What did you remember? Or think you remembered? I was reading this cursed book that put you to sleep, and when I fell asleep, I had this dream, but it feels more like a memory. You were in it, so if you don't remember it, then I know it's a dream. Makes sense? We were in this motel. I don't know where. It was a night, raining outside. I was looking at myself in the mirror, and there was a sort of gold stain on my skin. I don't know what it was from, but it was like one of those metallic marker pens that exploded on my face. You know the kind I mean? Arts and crafts kind that squeak when you use them, but like a bunch of the ink had come out. I am trying not to laugh, but go on. No, you were laughing in the dream too. And you were on the bed laughing at me and I'm pretty sure you were naked. Look, I'm not trying to do anything here. This isn't like a setup for anything. I'm just telling you what I remember. Actually, I just realized I was naked too because later in the dream I put clothes on by magic somehow. I was telling you that I had to go and was asking that you get the stain off my face, though you found it incredibly funny for some reason. I had to go because of Kankri, and I was telling you that I would try and work on a lead or something when I was gone, but you were trying to convince me to stay because something was coming. Food, I think. It
It's kind of slipping from me now that I'm awake. Was that a dream or was that a memory? Can you still remember it clearly? Mostly, I think. That's not good. You didn't answer my question. I'm not sure I should, even though I want to. Stop reading that book, though. Is that because it'll melt my brain, like you said that spell across my face would? It might, which it would only do because it's a memory. I plead the fifth. Alright. What was on my face, though? What? Oh, I will happily come down there and demonstrate if you want. Wait. I wish I could see your face right now. Well, I'm ending this conversation now, and I'm going to pretend it never happened. Thanks. No wonder past you was so fucking amused. You try to fight the color off your face. The red, that is, from you blushing. No, not the memory you just dreamt. Not that memory you just dreamt up. Oh boy, you think maybe you should just go back to your dorm. You gather your things and try not to let the images from your memory stick in your mind. But you're not especially successful. When you check the book out, you have to reassure, or that you have to assure Kanaya that Miss Paint let you get it out, and it's part of your practice. Solix clearly doesn't think you remembering these things bodes well, but you do still need to learn how to resist the book. So you're taking it with you. Besides, there's no certainty that you'll get another memory instead of a dream next time you fail to resist it. Whatever, you're taking it with you, and you're going to go back to your dorm. Excuse me, oh my goodness. Okay. Excuse me, sorry. You think Kanaya is just pleased that you're not trying to work. After a quick detour to grab food, you head back to your dorm, and once the door is firmly shut, you pull your phone out. You just go with your instincts. The phone rings in your ear and finally connects, and you relax at the sound of the voice on the other end. Hey man, you know, if you're willing to make phone calls to people, I think we have to revoke your millennial card, Dave says, wryly amused. I'm pretty sure I'm far older than that, so that's probably okay. I just missed you, you tell him honestly. Aw, shit, really? He laughs. He sounds hopeful. Does he not know how much you like him? Are you focusing on Solix too much? God, you don't know how to have one relationship, let alone two. Is it hard to believe that I miss you? Because I do. You insist. You need him to know that. Dave makes a strangled sound, and you hear a sound like something soft hitting him. What was that? You ask in surprise. Gravity, my bad. You gotta warn me before you hit me with feelings like that, Carcat. It's the law, Dave says, his voice slightly muffled. You grin and lay down on the sofa, the phone still held firmly over your ear, or firmly to your ear. Good thing I have a very good lawyer then. I'm sure she'll get me off the hook for any charges of flustering the legally protected Dave Lalonde. You chuckle. You hear Dave shift around and his voice becomes clearer. I can't believe your flagrant disregard for the law, Carcat. I thought you were an absolute angel, he says. Funny, you tell him flatly. Aw, poor Carcat. So aside from this entirely unwarranted attack on my feelings, was there anything you specifically wanted to talk about? Dave asks with a touch more confidence in his voice. No, I just want to talk to you, you say. I wish I'd done something cool, and exciting to talk to you about. All I've done today is microwave food and throw rocks in the river. It's key to get those right way around, but if you want to be adventurous and flip that shit, you can. Solix will eat a microwaved rock if dared to. Dave informs you, and you believe him. I went to the library and read a book that literally made me pass out, so I spent several hours face down asleep on it. I got a memory back, though. Not a useful one, but at least Concrete wasn't in it. It just gave Solix a chance to laugh at me. You grumble. What doesn't give him a chance to laugh at you? I swear, sometimes watching you two talk to each other is pure comedy from my point of view. Dave snickers. I'm glad you're amused, you mutter. I'm glad that you're glad, Dave chirps, the asshat that he is. You clearly have terrible taste in men. That's the only thing that can explain this. You hold your phone to your ear with your shoulder and stretch your arms above your head. Despite the weird sensation of that dream/memory, you're starting to relax a little. When you get back, you start. Yeah? Dave asks before you're done with what you just thought would be a pause. When you get back, we should go on a date. An actual one, you suggest. Hell yeah, what'd you have in mind? Dave asks. I should probably have thought about that before I started talking to you about it, but thinking before I say shit has never really been my deal, so why start now? I figure I've got a while before you get back here. I could look around for something cool for us to do, and if you've got any good ideas, you could let me know, you say. No way. I have to think of cool ideas for whenever it's my turn to come up for something for us. Get your own ideas, he laughs. Alright, but you'll have longer, so I expect to be completely swept off my feet then, you warn him. Yeah, Dave pauses and you can hear a voice in the background. In a minute, he hisses. You think he's moved the phone away from his face a little. The voice in the background comes again. You think it's Mom. No, I'll be right there, I swear. I just want to finish talking to... That's not... No, Mom! Dave protests, and you hear a scuffle over the phone. Hello, Car Cat, Roxy says smoothly down the phone. Hi, Roxy. You laugh. In the background, you can hear Dave's petulantly whining, Mom, at her. Dave has to come to lunch, so he'll have to stop talking to you and doodling your name in his journal with hearts all around it now, Roxy says, and you can hear her trying not to laugh. I was not, Dave protests in the background. I understand entirely, you snicker. I knew you would. No snatching, Dave, Rose says quickly, and you hear a yelp in the background. Oh, hey, you knew what I was, didn't you? What species I am, I mean, you ask her. Natch. It just makes you your adorable little feelings party all the cuter, right? Being on opposite sides like that. Roxy giggles. Yeah, you suppose there's a certain irony in you and Solix being together. I figured. Well, I'll let you have lunch now, you say. Bye. Roxy coos into the phone and hangs up. As you pull your phone away from your ear, you see that Rose trolled you too. Late for lunch, not in the Lalonde household. You click the image and nearly choke on your own spit laughing at it. Dave is stuck to the ceiling in a glowing pink circle as his mom sits on the floor with his phone to her ear as she talks to you. Oh shit, that's amazing. Did he get down okay? Of course, she'd never drop him. He's perfectly fine, although his pride may never recover. You know what? Thanks for that. I needed the laugh. You're more than welcome. However, I need to go to lunch, lest I risk the same fate. Entirely understandable. Later, Rose. You're still smiling when you lower your phone down to your chest. You feel a little better now. You stay put on the sofa for a little bit, just enjoying being comfortable in the warmth of your dorm. Still, you've already literally slept part of the day away, so you should go and do something productive. With a grunt, you roll off the sofa onto your knees and drag your carcass into your room. The sight of the sofa cushions covers filled with your maker's stolen things makes you sigh. You've still not done anything about all that, and you really need to. You sit on the edge of the bed and pull one of them closer. There's a soft, warm sweater inside. You'd figured that perhaps you could give it to a homeless shelter or something. At this time of the year, you're pretty sure that plenty of people who could use something to ward off the cold. Holding it in your hands, you feel the soft fabric against your skin, the way the weight of the garment hangs from your hands. You rub your thumbs over the weave of the wool, and you find your mind churning over him again. If you'd gotten a chance to know him this time around and talk to him, not as a maker and the person he made, but just as two people who didn't know where they were from, could you have made a difference? Could you have talked him through and out of his beliefs about other species by hearing what he had to say and countering it? Was there any way you could have shown him the view of other non-humans? Introduced him to people he might have liked who weren't human? Could you have made him better? Maybe you could have. Maybe you could have been family or friends at the very least. You get the feeling that you weren't close emotionally before. You've never had any positive memory about him come back to you. He probably still deserved better than being shanked in an alley, if only because you don't think that anyone really deserves that. You lift the sweater up to your face and breathe in, your nose buried in the fabric. You can smell fabric softener, his detergent, but there's something else there. Scent is supposed to be one of the senses most strongly tied to memory, isn't it? As you breathe in and move past the laundry smells, you get something else. You'd be hard-pressed to describe the smell. It's just him. It's not jasmine flowers and moonlight with a hint of fresh coffee or anything like that. It's just a scent that hits your brain, and your mind connects it to Kankri's face. It smells like home. Your home. Not your dorm that you're in now, the ones you really consider home. Nor is it the place in Georgia that you've never considered home. It's the place you lived for so long with him. No memories suddenly leap to the surface, but a feeling settles over you thickly as if it were the actual sweater in your hands. You feel lonely. You feel like there's no point talking because no one listens, but you don't stop, and then it's unpleasant words, lectures that make you feel an inch tall, and terrible isolation. Kankri's sweater makes you feel like you're home again, in a way that's not at all pleasant. You shove the sweater back into the makeshift bag and wrap your arms around yourself. You don't want to be on your own right now. Hey, Eridan, do you want to watch those movies now? I could bring them over to yours if you're interested. Being alone in my dorm is kind of driving me crazy. Oh, hey Car. Yeah, sure, you can come over. I'll just send you the address. Thanks. I'll grab my laptop and movies. Is everything okay? Yeah, it's nothing new. I'll see you in a bit. Have to finish. Oh boy. Oh boy. Chapter ends. It does end here. It is a bit of an abrupt end. Oh, and we don't get to read until Monday. Yeah, Eridan's is rough. It's funny, I read these on my phone at like night. Like if I'm reading fanfiction, it's usually like very late for me, and I have the dark mode on my phone. So whenever I get to like John, like any John text, or like any time I see John in Pester logs, I have to like squint and like turn up the brightness on my phone, but it still doesn't help because it's just so the contrast is so bad. But I also refuse to not use dark mode for AO3. I don't know how you use light mode in AO3, especially if I'm reading in my bed at midnight. It's a fucking flashbang. Cliffhanger screams off a cliff. This is fine. Yeah, we gotta do a little cliffhanger. Thankfully, it's not like a crazy bad cliffhanger, right? It's not like, oh my god, you know, I don't know, Cancre's dead. Like, I don't know, something like that, right? This is Carcat's gonna go hang out with Eridan. I use light mode on AO3 at night in bed. I burn my eyes out. It is not worth it. Yeah, that's exactly it. I use light mode, but I also work out without music? What? Allie, that's crazy. I can't imagine. Do you listen to anything when you work out, like a podcast or anything like that? Do you watch YouTube videos or like a TV show? I can't imagine trying to exercise without doing something. I think I'm crazy. You work out in silence? Wow. That's incredible. I focus on breathing. What kind of exercise do you do? Because I think that's important. That whole section with Cancre socked me in the face. Yeah. 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 Also, just for reassurance, because I saw some people typing it earlier, this is rated teen up. This isn't explicit fic. There's no, unda always fades out to black whenever there's like, or like will imply things, but it's never explicit. So you don't have to worry about that. I can't say anything, but holy shit, yeah. It kind of, it's funny reading a lot of stuff about Cancre with the context of the Suffer doc. And it hurts. Hurts a little bit. Cargat having Cancre issues ruins my life. Yeah. He's a little guy. He's a poor little guy. I really like, in this chapter, I really like the Solux and Carcat memory that we get. I don't know. I like that little thing. It's interesting seeing an insight into their lives before the event shit happened. I always like those little bits. There's a I want to talk about an idea that I want to talk about an animatic idea that I've had, but I also definitely can't talk about it without talking about spoilers. So I will relegate that to when we do stuff at the end. But there's a song, actually I could say the song. And then the people who know will know. There's a song called This Year by the Mountain Goats. Very, 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 very alternate universe song to me. Very, very alternate universe song to me. I wanted to make an animatic to it very badly. Specifically about like pre-event. That's how I kind of envision it in my brain. And that's all I'll say. So if you're, yeah, that's all I'll say. But I can talk about it more in detail because I have it pretty clearly planned out in my mind. Once we finish alternate universe on stream. I love this memory too. It's very silly and also yet sad. Yeah. I wish that I don't know. I would have loved like some spin-off side fics of pre-event, like a bunch of like pre-event stuff. Skimming the lyrics, I see the vision. Do you see it? You see it? It's so clear in my head. It's so vivid. But yeah. Okay, I think that's where we'll wrap up stream. Almost 2 hours. Yeah, good chapter. We will not be here tomorrow because tomorrow's Friday. We will be here on Monday, next week to do chapter 22. Oh boy! Oh, I know this chapter. Oh my god, I know this chapter. Oh boy. Oh, Monday's gonna be fun. Monday is gonna be fun. Oh boy. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. It's also the problems chapter. It's the AU song. We're in for some fun stuff. I'm excited. Yeah. And this will be technically halfway point. Technically-ish. But halfway through this, we'll be at the halfway point. I just arrived to check in if you're Elden Ring. Yes, we have. We finished. We are kind of discussing the chapter, though, but we're being vague enough. I was going to end stream. Though, do you guys want to... I do have the... I talked about it yesterday, but then I forgot to do it. Let me pull up the... I was going to make a shipping chart with the little circle thing. The circle of all the characters. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this set up. Oh, Archie, you sent it to me in Discord DMs. That's right. Yes. Okay, let me open Photoshop. I could probably just open Paint, but I'll do Photoshop. Hold on. Let me see. I don't actually know. Is it gonna be this screen? Yes. Oh, my guys. Hold on. I'm pulling up Photoshop. Look at my little fellas. Oh, they're so cute. They sit on my desktop background. They're so lovely. Oh my god, fellas. Actually, let me do this really quick before I want to show all my files to the world. Okay. Left screen. Bada bing. Alright. So. I made the big AU piece my laptop lock screen too. Yeah, it's one of my desktop backgrounds. Because I have like 3 different monitors, so I get 3. Okay, so we gotta do red for flushed. We'll do that red. We'll do. Come on, Photoshop. There we go. Oh, lagging. We'll do black. And then we'll do pale. Is there... I don't know how you do this with Ashen. So we're just not going to include Ashen. And then we'll do like blue for fucking whack-ass quadrant. Fucking like blue is cannot keep it in one quadrant, aka the car cat the car cat line. Okay, let's start off with the basics. Okay, and this is my dream, not my dream ship chart. This is like the people that I ship the most, because you can in theory, I can ship anybody. I am happy to ship pretty much anybody. Also, I'll turn my music up a little bit since we're chill stuff. I will in theory ship anybody. But this is like the ideal. This is like my peak, my favorites. We have that. And let's see. Okay. Bada bing. Bada bing. I also... Am I doing multi-ships? I am going to do multi-ships. I feel like, see, this is specifically in the context of DBDC. I don't trust it anywhere else. I don't trust it anywhere else. But specifically DVDC. So I'm gonna just do a little note. That's the only place I trust it. Okay. Oh, okay. Where's Jade? There she is. But I also like... This is gonna get really complicated looking. Let's see, and then... It's gonna look so... I'm crossing more and more and more. This is gonna be awful to read. But that's okay. John... Oh wait, hold on, and then... And then... I like Dirk Jake just because of Arcturus's fix. But I also see Arrow Jake. People who imagine Arrow Jake are very valid, and you guys are so allowed. Oh. Are they technically... They're not siblings, right? I like this from DVDC. This in DVDC was good. But I also don't think that... Unlike Rose and Dave, Dirk and Roxy aren't technically siblings. Right. Yeah, they're not. Again, but I'm again marking it DVDC, because I'm based for that. Let's see. I also like... What else do I like? I'm trying to think of what my favorites are. There's nothing else that really, like, strikes me as big things. I don't really have any opinions on Jane. I think Jane and Roxy are kind of cute. But this is like, again, this is like MCE, at least. Oh, I have... Hold on. I forgot. I will literally give Solux a pitch with anybody. Fucking... He's allowed. And then... Debating if this is red or black. They probably vacillate. Also, this is cute, even though I don't read much about it. Like, I'm not a huge advocate for it, but I don't mind it. Okay, hold on, I changed my mind. Well, I kind of changed my mind. I'm just kind of, it's black, but they also can't keep it in one quadrant. Aridin doesn't get anybody. He's not allowed. Actually, no, that's... Hold on, sorry. Adding to the collection, I'm sorry. I have to add to the collection. I forgot about that. I like Aerosol in very specific contexts. People can convince me of Aerosol. I think that Solux should just be pitched for everybody. I think this man has... I think that, yeah, he's allowed. Oh, can I... Hold on. Hold on. We have to make an addendum. There we go. You guys know what I mean. Halquius, my fucking everything. He's everything. Halquius is everything to me. And then this kind of also hold on. Also is in there. Let me see. Is there anything else I'm thinking of? Who is Hal? Hal is an AI is a copy of Dirk's brain that he turned into an AI. And he's the best. I love Hal. Also, yeah, that's canonical. He's not in I was gonna say something and then I trailed off. Is Unda Hal anything like Canon Hal? Not really, but I love he. True. The thing is, here's the thing. Hussey made the worst mistake with Hal ever by fucking prototyping him. Fuck Hussey for turning him into Arqueus. I literally hate Arqueus. I hate Arqueus. I hate what they did to my boy. I hate it so much. Part of, like, more than half the reason I love Crow Strider, like the Crow Strider AU, is because Hal gets to, like, be his own character. I hate what... Oh my god, because, like, one of my favorite moments in Homestuck is the fucking rooftop convo with Hal and Dirk. I love... You guys know the one I'm talking about. The one that's in the one that it has the audio. The one that one person voice acted. I love that conversation. How do you take that character and that, like, such an interesting, like, fascinating dynamic, and then you turn it into fucking sweaty AI robot horseman? I hate it so much. I hate it so much. MCE did Hal better. DBDC did Hal better. Crow Strider AU did Hal better. Literally every fic I've read has done Hal better than Hussey. Oh my god. Is there anything I'm missing here? I don't think so. Okay, just... do it this way. There we go. Oh, I need to think of somewhere... I like... what do I like for Fef? I don't think about Fef a ton. Okay. It's actually embarrassing. There was one Fef Cat fic that I've read that convinced me of them. And that's enough for me to put it on the list. I also... I mean, I think that Fef Soul is kind of nice, too. I'll mark it in. We're already fucking... I'm giving... Solix gets all the goddamn bitches. So, he's allowed. Oh, I also like... That's also good. This looks like a mess. Solix and Car... Wait, did I not add something for Solix and Carcat? Oh my god, I didn't. Oh my god, you're right. Hold on. Sorry. Oh my god. Hold on, I need to, like, pierce the fucking veil. They cannot keep it in a quadrant. Though I think my favorite... See, here's the thing. My favorite dynamic is Pitch, so, like, my favorite Soul Cat is Pitch, and my favorite Dave Soul is also Pitch. And my favorite Dave Cat is also Pitch. So, if we do this, and then also this, and then also, again, this... But it's like, it's mostly Pitch. This looks like a fucking nightmare. My favorite is Pitch. I have so much mental illness, which is funny because there's a lot of red lines on this chart. I like Flush Dave Cat, but they need a little spicy Pitch so far. Yeah, I agree. I think my favorite part about Dave Cat's dynamic is the fact that it is so quadrant smeary. I think YWDMP DSK dynamic is my favorite so far. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's also YWDMP most, like, distinctly actually does DSK to its full extent, right? Because in alternate universe, like, I guess you could argue that... Okay, actually, here's what it is. In YWDMP, we see all three of them and all three of their perspectives, right? All interacting in the relationship. In alternate universe, we get Carcat dating Dave and then Carcat dating Solux. We don't really get to see Dave and Solux's Moirail, like, relationship between each other because we're not in that perspective, right? In MC Escher, we get Dave Cat, right? And it's very kind of flushed. And then we get Dave Soul, but then again, that's like between Dave and then Carcat and Solux and that are more like siblings than anything. So we don't get a full Dave Cat or Dave Soul Cat dynamic. Though Solux and Carcat in that fic are still great as just, you know, the kind of bond that they have. And then in DBDC, we get... DBDC is very Dave Soul Cat, but it's also mostly Dave Soul. It's Dave Soul, background Dave Cat, because again, not our POV. And then even the arrangement that they end up having where they have all three of them, it's not like... It starts as... Okay, I'm your middle leaf for more allegiance, which is weird, right? That's like, you know, that's the whole point. But, like, they remain that way for a while, and then eventually it kind of becomes smeared, and then they're all kissing each other, right? But in YWDMP, as soon as DSK is fully established, it's established as, like, okay, we're doing, like, a whole mixed thing here, right? And that's, like, the perspective they play it from, and we get POVs from all three of the characters interacting with the relationship. So it's like we get to see the most DSK in the most full interactive way in YWDMP out of all of Unda's fics. Yes, I think. And Pitch Dave Soul is in YWDMP, which is my favorite Dave Soul interaction. So it just got everything. It has everything for me. So I love YWDMP. I love it so much. I'm scared and also excited for it to end because I'm assuming it's coming to an ending soon. You get to 1,000,000 words and it's like, holy fuck. You know, I'm assuming it's wrapping up at eventually. Shh, don't say anything. Yeah. Though, I mean, unda's also kind of slowed down, I think, with the updates a bit, which is fair, because it's like, again, you write 1,000,000 words, and goddamn, you'd be feeling burnout. I can barely write like 20k words before I'm like, I want to do something different. So, you know, it's fucking fair as shit to take breaks and stuff. But Steam starts around eventually, and it's like you want to like you man like, because, and I've hit this with my projects before, like with my art projects and animatics, of like you realize that the steam is starting to run out, and you're like, fuck, I need to finish this before I am out of gas. Because there's going to be a point where I'm out of gas. So you're like on that last bit of your tank, and you're like, I just need to get this done. I just need to get this done. I just need to, like, I see the finish line. It is there. I have it in my plan. Like, I can see what the final product will be. I just need to get there so I can do something new. Based on how fast they went with Suffering, yeah, I'm pretty sure they were burnt out. Yeah, the fact that they wrote so much of the Suffering doc, I'm like, sometimes you just need to barrel with a new, different project. Just to kind of get a refresh so you can come back to an old one. But it's definitely like, because like that's how I was with like how far we've come, working on those like last like 3 scenes. Oh my gosh, it's not one of the last scenes, but like doing the tango coming out of the spaceship, him walking down that drive, or down that little staircase, that ramp. I wanted to die. Oh my god. I literally, like, stood in front of I had to do, like, 2 or 3 keyframes left. That was it. I was so close to being done. And I just sat there, and I was holding my pen, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't. I'm gonna go insane. And I pushed through it, because I had to finish the project, but, like, it is... Sometimes you hit that wall, and it is rough. My longest good fic is, 2,700 words. I have a couple that have hit 10k thanks to being multi-chapter, but I don't like them, and they're really old. I can't write that much. I write specific scenes mostly. Yeah, I have this little... Let me see if I can find it. I have like a writing folder on my Google Drive, where I have stuff. Yeah, I can show this. Where I have, like, a bunch of writing things. Right? And so, like, this is the chapter summaries. This is a very short thing that I started writing today, and it's, like, an apocalypse AU that I just wrote a little blip about. This is a very, again, short little blip that I was writing about Dave and Carcat going on a road trip together. This is a fic that I have about Dave and Dirk, well, all the kids, getting stuck on Alternia in troll versions of their own bodies, and then they find a way to get out. And Dirk and Dave wake up together in an abandoned grub, Mother Grub cavern where Nepeta is. And Nepeta finds them, and they end up like having to work together. And then they're gonna go find Equius to get Hal fixed because Hal doesn't work. And they have to figure out like how to get home. And then I'm gonna switch to other POVs, and it's gonna be in different actors with trolls. It's a whole thing. And then I have this doc, which is a DSK doc that I haven't touched in a while, but I have like 30k words written for it. It's pretty big. It's getting big. And this is a Dave Cat one shot. This is Gem Stuck stuff. This is OC stuff. This is just random Dave Cat stuff, and this is the actual completed TMA Dave crossover fic that I did. So I have like all of these like little bits of writing that I get like 10k words into max. Well, not max, but that I get like multiple, you know, however many words into. But it's like I don't finish them. And also like I feel bad about like I don't want to post them on AO3 if I know they're not going to be done. Because it's like I have like, you know, however many words done on this, on my, you know, bigger DSK fic. I have like 20 chapters planned. And I have like a lot written for it. Hold on, I can show you guys. There's like I have like, oh my god, I have like a lot I have like stuff written. I have a lot of stuff written. And I have plans, like, there's stuff here. But it's like, I need to finish it, you know what I mean? So, you know. Question, anyone have any fun little Homestuck fics under 15k? I can dig into my thick log and see if I can find something, that I recommend under 15k. Wait, you see that one site that automatically codes pester logs? I haven't touched any of that stuff yet because I haven't tried to transfer to AO3. I just do it on Google Docs, and I just manifest that hopefully it'll be fine when I eventually get to AO3. Let me see. I really liked Ellipti. This is an older one. Ellipti, do you want like stuff that's shippy, or do you not care? I really liked Your Interpersonal Intergalactic Relationship: A Beginner's Guide by Sicklekind. It's 8k words. It has like some really interesting kind of prose. It's Dave Cat. Let's see. What else do I have? What else do I have that's like under... Okay, I don't have I don't have that many short fics that aren't explicit, so I don't have that many recommendations, sadly. At least short fics. Most of my fics are either long or have mature content. So that's the only one that I think I have for you. I have a lot in my to-read list that are like mature, teen-rated, but I haven't read those, so I can't confirm of their proper of their what do you call it? Quality. That's the word. Meteor Dave Cat makes me so insane. Holmes legitimately in my house. I actually, it's funny. I don't really care for Meteor Stuck. I'm really not a fan of Meteor Stuck. I read which fic was it? I read Everybody Loves Within Without. I didn't. At least I think it was Within Without. Was it Within Without? It was either that. I think it was Within Without. Was Within Without the one where they write the movie together? Script. Yeah, Within Without's a pretty popular Dave Cat fic that's Meteor Stuck, and I really didn't care for it. I finished it, but I don't know. I think Meteor Stuck fics sometimes are too angsty for me. The problem with me and long fics is that I'll try to read them all at once. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Within Without was okay, but I just didn't super care for it. There was also like, I mean, like, what's another? There's a really popular, like, really, and this is an old fic, to be fair, but like, Unwanted Free Ugly Troll, I couldn't finish. I think I got like maybe 10 chapters or so in, but that's also like old fic, old Homestuck fic. So, you know, a classic, one might even say, but I was like, not a huge fan. The thing is that like, it's so funny to see the difference between how people write bro from like in 2012 compared to like now, you know, or like more recent fics, or even just like post when the stuff with bro kind of started getting taken more seriously, because you have a lot of like people who are big fans of bro and like drew a lot of fan art and like showed him in a very positive light. And then now bro, to the majority of people, is like a villain or an abuser, right? Because of how he was recontextualized in the later parts of Homestuck. There's so much whiplash with bro, yeah. I think it's interesting. Yeah, like you get to the Dirk Dave conversation. Now, to be fair, I didn't like Bro from the very start, but I also kind of already was reading him as kind of abusive from the very beginning. But it's supposed to be like a joke, right? It's supposed to be played off as a joke. It's not supposed to be taken seriously. And I think it's very clear that Hussey written it so that it wasn't supposed to be taken seriously. And then you get to the later parts, and it seems like fans interpreted it of like, hey, isn't this kind of weird with Bro? And then Hussey like jumped on that opportunity to make it kind of an interesting dynamic. It's very accurate to how Dave acts for the start of it in a shitposty way, and then it gets serious at the end. Yeah, like the thing is, here's the thing, right? I think that there's a lot of one of the few things that Hussey, I think, does well at times. Now, he does this well, sometimes he doesn't do it good at other times, but when he's able to take stuff like fan interpretation and make it into canon, make it interesting, like, I think the idea that Dave played everything off as a joke, played everything off with Bro as a joke, and interpreted it that way as a way of, like, coping with being abused, right, and having trauma, like, aligned with that, is really interesting. Like, the way that Dave plays it off. Now, you can read it that way, or you can read it the way that it was probably actually written, in that Hussey intentionally was doing it as a joke, and didn't intend for Bro to be abusive, or be seen as abusive, and then just, in hindsight, was like, oh, I can nail on that, and that makes Dave a more interesting character, and that's what he did. Now, I think you can appreciate, like, so I'm not going to give Hussey credit entirely for making this really interesting dynamic, or, like, making, you know, a really cool interpretation. Hussey took advantage of something that the fans were doing, and the way that fans were interpreting it. Now, he did it pretty well. But it is kind of interesting, and it is interesting to see the difference between bro fans from, like, 2012 versus, like, nowadays how people see Bro. I think another thing is that Homestuck became a story that got more serious as it goes on. Yeah. I read Unwanted Free Ugly Troll in 3 sittings, and I gotta say Toddler Carcat and AU Carcat is setting me up for being weirded out by Canon Carcat. Yeah, you get a mix, huh, don't you? It's so funny, there's such a wide range of because AU Carcat, let's be honest, is not really that much like Canon Carcat. I also haven't read Homestuck in what, like 4 or 5 months now. So maybe I can't say much, but, like, I don't know. Canon Carcat was such a prick. And AU Carcat's so nice, you know? The fan version of Bro, that he's just a guy with a kid, is so silly. Yeah, for sure. I was looking at, there's a Tumblr account I follow that reblogs, like, really old Homestuck art. And they had a series of stuff that they were posting that was, like, you know, cute Bro and Dave art of, like, you know, Bro being kind of a bit of an incompetent parent, but in, like, a charming way, and Dave, you know, being a cute little toddler or whatever. And I was like, oh, this is so cute. And then in the back of my head, trying not to think of all the interpretations of Bro I've seen as abusive, a serial killer, a terrorist, you know, like, all circling in the back of my mind of, like, I'm thinking of, you know, this is, I gotta not, at different times. So, it is funny. Side-Eye's Fall of Rome. Side-Eye's fucking, what am I currently reading? The Calm is Terrifying When the Storm Is All You've Known. Side-Eye, MC Escher. I'll put this back here so you guys have a visual to stare at. How long are we streaming for? I'll probably wrap soon. I just like chatting. A Carcat is, like, almost no C to me. I love him so much, and he's, like, not Carcat. Yeah, I think the thing is, like, you go far enough into a fic that is, like, a canon divergence, and the characters do become something different. Like this Solux, right? AU Solux, nothing like canon Solux. Or, like, very, like, to be fair, actually, I did not pay attention to canon Solux. Solux was not a character to me that I cared about at all when I was reading Homestuck. Unda was the only reason that I ended up caring about Solux. Unda is the only reason that Solux competes for top character on my fucking top tier chart. When I reread Homestuck, I bet I'm gonna be so disappointed about Solux as a character. Or maybe not disappointed, but Solux just also isn't in Homestuck a lot. At least I don't think. He doesn't have a huge presence. The most canon accurate Karkat Unda has is DBDC. Yeah, I agree with you. I was trying to think about MC Escher, but I think even MC Escher, that's not canon Karkat. Yeah, I think DBDC is probably the most accurate Karkat to canon. Yeah, I would agree with you. Solux is actually so minor in the canon, then he just dips out of the narrative. Like, alright, I'm gonna head out. Yeah. Yeah. Solux like the one person that's like, this game is fucking stupid, I quit, peace. And he's allowed to do that, you know? And he's fucking base for that. He's base as fuck. Solux always cool to me, but like in a very cool, like minor character way. Yeah. I think to me, like, I was just so focused on Dave and Karkat when I was reading Homestuck, so I just didn't like care about him. Not that, well, okay. I really liked, you know what? Here's interesting, fun little bit. I really like the Alpha Kids. I know that a lot of people were like, there's like a whole thing of like, when Act 6 came out, as it was coming out, people really hated Act 6 because they didn't like the Alpha Kids and they didn't like the relationship drama and stuff. I loved Dirk, okay, to be fair, I just love Dirk. But I loved, like, the four-way conversation that they have on the God tier beds. That was probably, like, one of my favorite parts of Homestuck. I loved that four-way combo. It was so good. When Dirk starts talking about how much, like, how strong Roxy is. How, like, she's stronger than all of them. Oh, my little heart. My little heart. I'm thinking about this line. I'm thinking about this fucking line. I love them. I love these two. I'm thinking about the line. I love literally that scene. Axis is like some of the best character stuff, but it has the least original and cool plot stuff. Yeah. Axis is also plagued by game over, and that is a stain to me on Homestuck that will forever stain Act 6. And I just can't forgive it. There's game over in the lily pad. That's it. That's all it is for me. But yeah, the four-way bed combo. My god. Even the illustration for those panels is like very vivid in my head. What scene is that? Let me see. I guess people reading Homestuck right now maybe don't want to look, but actually it'll take me a second to pull up the collection because my collection lags a little bit because it has to load the extension. I wish we got more Dirk Dave interactions. I do too. I really wanted, you know what I wanted? I wanted the Dirk, the Dirk that dies in the game over timeline and we see him go like fade into pixels. I was so fucking sad at that scene. I was so sad. Here it is. This image plagues my brain constantly. This image plagues my brain constantly. Literally this whole area. But yeah. When Dirk like fades away into pixels, I was so sad. I was so sad about that scene. I wanted that Dirk and the Dave from the game over timeline to have a question, like, or to have to talk. Question: who is Jane and who is June in canon? So June is John in canon. Jane is technically John's, was it Nana? It was John's Nana, right? But like the alpha timeline's weird. Yeah, Ectomom. The alpha timeline's weird, and so she's a kid. She's in the Alpha Kids. This is Jane. She is very cool as long as you ignore everything she did in the epilogues. Jane is very sweet. She's very nice. She's very kind. Just don't think about the epilogues. Don't think about the epilogues. Don't think about them. Don't think about them. What epilogues? Where epilogues? Epilogues hated women. I think Jane and Jade got the worst treatment in the epilogues. I'm pretty sure Skitty knows what the epilogues are, and we're playing the game of like, yeah. Like, what epilogues? As in, like, they don't exist. Yeah. But yeah, Jade and Jane were fucking treated so poorly. All I know about the epilogues is that it's horrid. Yeah, the thing is that the epilogues, here's the cliff notes. I'm not actually gonna explain them, but like, it seems almost malicious the way that Hussey treated the characters. To be fair, okay, Archa, I will have to disagree on you there, because I like Ultimate Dirk. As a non-canonical, like, concept, and like as his own independent character, I think old Dirk is kind of cool. I also think that he's hot, and that's like 70% of why I like him. So so my opinion is kind of skewed. So like my opinion's kind of skewed. But that's not mostly why I like it, but that's mostly why I like most of my favorite characters. So, you know, if the character isn't hot, it's like, it's harder for me to like enjoy them. I'm sorry. I'm an unhealthy pitch relationship with that fucker. Yeah, exactly that. I thought that he was cool. To be fair, okay, now here's where I'm really putting it down. I have only read about half of Candy's timeline for the epilogues. I have not read any of Meat, and I skimmed Homestuck 2. And by skimmed, I mean I just went through and I just looked at all the pictures. But I like know roughly what happened in the epilogues. Like, I've read cliff notes of epilogue stuff, so I haven't interacted much with Ultimate Dirk. I wanted to finish reading because I wanted to get through Candy, and I wanted to read at the meat route, but I just could not get through Candy. Should I skip the epilogues? You should absolutely skip the epilogues. Just don't read them. Unless you're like insanely curious and you're like, I just need to know, and you don't mind characters being horribly mistreated and like genuinely bad storytelling, then just, you know, then like you can read them, but you don't have to read them. They're not canon at all. You know, the only reason that I would get information on them is because sometimes people talk about them and make references to them in their animatics and stuff. Like, one of my favorite Homestuck animatics is Scrawny, the Scrawny Dave Cat animatic, and that has some references to the epilogues that you just won't get if you don't know about it. Scrawny, where is it? Are you gonna watch it? Hold on. I'm pulling it up. I literally love this so much. Hopefully my music will pick it up. This kind of maybe has spoilers, but it's also vague. I love the color palette so much. motherfucker with the cool. Question, so how do I look to you? Am I something? I love this frame! I love all of these so much. I wanted to remember. Oh, they're so cute! This same. I love that one so much. Oh. Oh, older Dave. Oh. What? Only reason you should read Homestuck 2 is the laundry scene. That's what I'm saying! Anyways, I literally love that video so much. I think it's my favorite Homestuck animatic. Or lyric stuck. It's everything to me. Oh my god. It's so good. Anyways, okay. I love that video so much. I've given it probably 1,000 views just myself. Yeah. Tearing my hair out, absolutely. And the thing is that, like, the last, like, 30 seconds of that is, like, references to Homestuck 2 and, like, the epilogues. But, like, do you need to know the context? Not really. Do I know anything about DaveBot? Not really. Do I care? No. Do I still have him on my little illustration because his design is cool? Yes, he's still sitting there. Do I know anything about him? No. Excuse me, I don't. But he looks cool. That's what matters. Shakes old Dirk like a maraca, yeah. It's not about the plot, it's about the cool character designs. True. So true. Okay, it is actually getting late. We've been talking for 45 minutes or something since we finished the chapter. So I am actually going to end here. Commander Vantis does look cool, I will say. Again, Commander Karkat is so hot, and it's unfair. He's such... the fan art of Commander Karkat. I love Big Cat so much, and it feels a need. It feels such a need. Okay, that's it. We're not keeping me any longer. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm not gonna go to bed. I'm gonna go read fanfiction, but not on stream, as I always do. So yeah. So we will be back here Monday, once again, 9 p.m. EST for the next chapter, for chapter 22. Right, because it was 21. 2 was 21, yes. So, next week for chapter 22. Talk to you all later. Good night, Bye-bye, everybody. Have a lovely night. Bye-bye.